bring the band in. Woo! Well, alright. Yeah, they want me to fit in, but I can't. I'm too different with it. Too advanced, think you know my intuition. I got bars and ink, but never in a prison. Too far gone, never gonna sit and listen. This is optimism mixed with the best. You get it? What you're singing is a beast in the flesh. I'm vetted. I don't need to try speak for the rest. Always keep it abrupt. They wanna keep it a mess, you know. This is what you get when you're sitting as a vet. But everybody know that you're a threat. With the rest, let's go. We won't fit in your box. We don't quit, we won't stop. Ride us all to the top. We won't fit in your, we won't fit in your, we won't fit in your box. No, we don't quit, we won't stop. No, ride us all to the top. Whoa. We won't fit in your box. No. Look, I try to tell you we don't fit in your box. Why you try to box me and I got the keys to unlock? I know the locksmith, optics, speak of the lost. I'm eating lobster, chopsticks, freaking the boss, you know. I'll never fit in where I go at. Boss talk like I'm both. Why fit in when you know you can stand out still? They remember you more when you hand out deals. Let's go. We won't fit in your box. We don't quit, we won't stop. Ride us all to the top. We won't fit in your, we won't fit in your, we won't fit in your box. No, we don't quit, we won't stop. No, ride us all to the top. Whoa. We won't fit in your box. No. Don't box me in. I do my own thing. Spirit is right within. I got my own way. Father is loud within. Look at the way that I do my ops again. Oh, better let me loose. You know that I got the juice. Everything I got to do. Words that I speak out my mouth, I gotta move. Oh, we can't fit in your box. We're too cold to get We won't fit in your box. We don't quit, we won't stop. Ride us all to the top. We won't fit in your, we won't fit in your, we won't fit in your box. No, we don't quit, we won't stop. No, ride us all to the top. Whoa. We won't fit in your box. No. Thank you, Ben, for coming out tonight. My name is Son of Augustine. Let's go.
PUBG Mobile Club Open. This is the ground floor for PUBG Mobile Esports. Hopefully we can see some squads rocket launch themselves into the stars and move on to the bigger stages coming up later on. Of course, I got my man with me for the first time casting PMCO Enigma. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Doing great. I mean, we woke up early, got the bacon cooking, took a little walk, had to give some to the dog, of course. But, we're here, baby, and looking to kill it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. First, let's go and take a look at the socials, guys. Make sure, of course, you're following them all and use that hashtag PMCO so we can keep an eye on everything that you're doing. And then who knows, maybe if you use that hashtag, we spot it, might end up on the show. Could happen, could not. Who knows, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at the format so we can see exactly how this PMCO is going to run. 16 teams will play, and believe it or not, there's actually going to be 15. So one decided to sit out. I am shocked for those of you guys out there that are looking to get into, some competitive PUBG Mobile. Now's the time more than ever, Enigma.
Yeah, and I mean, for the most part, it's a lot of these teams are taking their first steps in that, competitive spectrum, I guess you could say. Even for me, being a previous competitor, a lot of it comes down to, the nerves and building, that sort of forte of, am I able to really handle this competitive side of things? And this is more a dip in the water, I guess you could say, in terms of, can I really handle competitive? And a lot of these players are going to be put under the pressure, and it's a matter if they crumble or even if they turn into diamonds, Jukes.
Yeah, hopefully we can see some of that happen here because NA needs some new shining stars, that's for sure. You guys saw the points. It's the same as it's been for quite a while now, but let's take a look at the prize pool, right? Let's go ahead and see how much cheddar is on the line here for PMCO. $6 grand for first place.
Wow.
That's some solid money for PMCO. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah, I mean, 6,000, a lot of these players maybe have never even gotten to the idea of, making money from, games and stuff like that. And I mean, if you're good enough, you're able to make the money. It's there, of course, first place for 6,000. You split it 4 ways. It's a little over $1.5 grand. Every
Sheesh.
player is, no matter what, at the end of the day, it's, you take a few hours out of your day, a few weeks even, and it's just, I mean, it's there for you.
Yeah, plus the experience. At the end of the day, though, it's about who's going to get top 8, guys. That's what we're going to be hunting down. Let's take a look at the schedule so you can see what we got going on for the rest of the tournament. And you're going to go ahead and spot that right here. We're going to go ahead and do with Erangel, Miramar, Sanhok, and then finish it up with good old Erangel. 4 matches here today. So, I mean, not a lot of opportunity, right, for these teams to really get started and kicked off here, right? They want to make sure that you can get into that top 8. You need to start off strong. I can't stress that enough, Enigma. Ain't that right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's coming down to, thankfully for these players, they're not having to play a lot of, multiple maps. It's mostly Erangel and Miramar. Sanhok, is a bit of a wild card with it. And some of these teams I'm looking at right now, I've seen a few of them, but a lot of them are, basically no names in my eyes, Jukes.
Sheesh. Yeah, and some no names, some definite people I've seen before. I know C4 Esports, they did really well in the Titan series towards the finals. We'll see if they can pop off here. 412 Nomads, we recognize that because we did actually get cast the Titan series together, right? Black Mamba, YKG. What?
Hey, I mean, maybe there's practice there. I'm not too sure what the roster's looking like now. I mean, there was obviously Americas where it was a bit of a subpar performance in my eyes, but for them, I'm hearing rumors that maybe we see Fate or someone, the Execute IGL coming through. We always talk about some of these teams not having, the IGL presence, or maybe it's just too much gun skill, not enough leadership, and that could be a great addition. But, right now it's a perfect opportunity for these lower teams as well as them, to get the practice in and get exposed to this level of gameplay.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see some new players shine. I want to see some new youngsters that are coming into the scene just really pop off here because honestly, the NA scene needs it, right? We need some more competition going on, and I want to see some high-level gameplay, right? So far, in all the tournaments that, I've casted in recent days, we've seen that skill cap just get up and up and up, just grow exponentially. But here in PMCO, it's been a while, right, since I've casted and actually kept an eye here on PMCO. So I want to see if that's going to be the same, Enigma, because you know what? Teams like YKG, they've gotten so used to playing against higher level squads. When you come down to PMCO, the gameplay is mostly different, right?
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of it, I think, is going to be just these teams, re-expanding their horizons, I guess you could speak, not tunnel visioning on, going against the same teams with the same mindsets, doing the same things over and over in scrims, tournaments. PMCO allows you to get that breath of fresh air and be like, okay, these are the talents coming up. And maybe if we're looking for a player, some of these teams might have that person that we need.
Yeah, I want to see those adjustments for sure, because one thing happens in particular when it comes to these kind of events. You know, let's say you have a whole bunch of teams on the edge of circle, and the zone will hard shift away, right? A lot of the times, you know, teams that are more inexperienced, they'll stay and fight it out, right? They're like, oh, no, I am going to get these eliminations. I see people, and they must go down, you know? And when that happens, they get, even if they win the fight, they get taken out in like 12th place. And that's just not the play that you want when you're trying to make sure you get to that top 8. At the highest level, those big dogs, if they're on that edge, they'll look at each other and say, hey, hands up, don't shoot. Let's get to the zone, right? And we'll fight when we get there, because that's the only way we both have a chance of making it in, right? So if the former happens here today, a lot of those teams that like to play that edge style may have a lot more trouble getting towards the center.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously there's the more established teams like YKG and stuff that we've known for playing edge and stuff like that. I would actually be surprised if they choose to take center now. Now, you made a great point of a lot of these inexperienced teams won't do the handshake of everyone go around the other sides of the zone. It's we're going to fight it out and let Papa Blue get the last few kills. So in my eyes, it's obviously not worth. A lot of it's going to come down to, can these players make that do or die decision of rotating in, give up the kills, cut the losses even if you have people knocked, and try to play for those late game points.
100%. Well, there's only a few days of gameplay, guys, here, so it's going to be top 8 moving on to the PMCO Grand Finals. So that's what we're going to be keeping an eye on here today. The rest of those squads are going to get eliminated. And one thing that they have to keep in mind is that this is going to be a 15-team lobby, right? A lot of people don't think that, oh, missing 4 players isn't going to make that big of a difference. But come to, like, certain sides of maps, I think it's going to make a big difference, right, Enigma?
Yeah, I mean, Erangel and Miramar will be the key components for that, because maybe the plane path is a little bit, more towards the edge. It means less drop spots available. But if one team's out and you know where they drop, I mean, that's a free spot for you. Sanhok's a little bit more, smaller map. Everyone usually spreads out in general, and it's people fighting to get to the zone. But Erangel and Miramar will really be the test of strength and, trueness for these teams in terms of, can they make the rotates in and stuff like that? Can they take the gunfights that they need to win? Or are they, going to try to just hesitate and, falter themselves into not being able to get into the zones?
Yeah, if I could talk to these teams right now, especially all these new kids on the block, right? The first thing I would say is, don't just aim for top 8. Aim for first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, really try to get as much money in your pocket right here now. Make a name for yourself, because who knows, if, sometimes you have these new squads, these teams don't quite stick together going to that next stage, but you'll have individual players shine out, and this is a big chance for you to get possibly picked up by some bigger squads here in the future. So you really want to go and make that happen. At the same time, I wouldn't take this too hyper seriously at the same time, because you don't want to all of a sudden, win PMCO and just think, oh man, we're going to steamroll everybody. This is a different tournament, right? 15 teams. When you start playing with the big boys and there's 16 squads, it is going to make a huge difference here, Enigma.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes down to, the mentality that these players come into. Some players maybe are just doing it for fun. Others are doing it really serious and getting into it, maybe too serious for some players' likings. But in my eyes, a lot of it comes down to, okay, can we come in here? Can we try to learn from our mistakes? Even if we do make them, can we get into that top 8? And the idea is, it's not that, you should be scared because YKG's in the lobby or stuff like that, or 412 Nomads, like EMPL teams and stuff like that. If they're in the lobby, you should think, what can I learn from them? I'm equal, maybe not better than them, but at least I'm equal. And the whole point is going, up the ladder, next and next, from PMPL, PMCO Americas, and then hopefully PMGC if you make it that far, in terms of just, I'm able to compete with this competition.
Gotta agree, right? You gotta be able to believe that it can be done. And that's what I want to see more, because honestly, I've been getting so frustrated looking at bigger stages. Teams that'll have like a 30-point gap just throw their hands up and give up. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was in that role, right, I'm telling my team, hey, we're hot dropping and we're gonna push every squad because we need crazy eliminations. If we go out, we go out, but we're trying. You know what I'm saying? And because at the end of the day, you can't make something magical happen if you don't believe you can go for it. So I really like what you said there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's just a stress-induced thing that these players have, some sort of mental block that's in front of them, blocking, the eyesight for them, because these new players come in, a lot of them have the gun skill, maybe better than most players that are already competing, but it comes down to, can you actually be confident in yourself and taking the 1v1, the 1v2s, and then after that, it's obviously learning the game, learning the maps, all the bread and butter that comes with competing this sort of style of game. But the main thing is just believing in yourself, having the gun skill, believing in your teammates as well, and being able to, perform and help you and grow with you through the competition.
100%. I'm not going to be too harsh on some of these newer squads because, hey, it's going to be their first time playing. I want to see them just improve day by day. That would be great, And then hopefully we see a bunch of them make it into top 8. Now, for teams that have been a little bit more established, players that have been more established, we might be a little bit more harsh on. But at the same time, like I mentioned earlier, there's so many different factors coming into PMCL. So everybody watching, I hope you spread the word. Tell your friends and make sure you use that hashtag PMCO as well. Before we get started, Enigma, any thoughts, right, going into this first match? Anything that you want to see right off the rip?
Well, it's 15 teams, so I'm not trying to see anyone hot drop each other, unless it's obviously Pachinki or something. Everyone likes a good Pachinki fight, but the whole idea of having your own drop, playing through the game, don't just point flip the guns that are on the ground. Obviously, the plane's coming in now. We can see a bit of it right now. It's George pull for the plane path towards, I believe, Milta Power. Favorable plane path in my eyes. Obviously, military bases out of it, chicks. But I'm hoping, actually, to see some sort of Zarky team right now.
Woo! All right, let's see if that's going to happen. We start going to see one squad go to North George, so no Zarky split here off the rip. Wow. We're going to see YKG pop out with a whole bunch of new names here, so that's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, so we got a little YKG Junior out in the mix. Good
Maybe
to see
some
that.
hidden talent.
412 is a team I'm going to really keep my eyes on here, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of these names, it's, unrecognizable to me for the most part, but the teams themselves, I'm liking to see what I had seen on the plane path. It was more spread out drops. People are going for car spawns. They're not dropping on top of one another. So some of these players have done at least some sort of homework with PMPL and stuff like that, knowing just the basics of the game and knowing, maybe just how scrims are played, even how they should be playing in these lobbies.
Well, maybe the nerves are kicking in already. We're going to have a little bit of a rehost here at the start, so hopefully we get all these players up in here getting ready to go. This is always so fun for me to watch because I can't stress enough. This is where it starts, right? This is where PUBG Mobile careers begin. It's where mine began, so many other players as well, and it can really make your dreams come true here and now. So I hope we see some teams play with confidence and kind of get it going. Going back to what I was talking about, 412 Nomads, though, Enigma. I've seen this squad play before. I've talked to them personally. I know that this squad has a lot in them. It was simple mistakes that just plagued them throughout ladder tournaments, right? So I'm looking to see, hey, because now it's a restart, right? It's a reset, baby. Reset, right? Let's see. I hope to see that happen. Yeah, roll it back, and hopefully we can see some teams kind of put it together.
Yeah, I mean, 412, I'd seen a lot of it, in PMPL NA and stuff like that. They were a team that, I believe is an international team that came here to play in NA, shows some sort of, international talent. We've had some players, actually leave NA to do that themselves. But in my eyes, it's, bringing light to, what other people have to offer. And this team has proven, in my eyes at least, that they're willing to work as a squad. They're willing to work through errors and willing to improve. And we don't really see that any day anymore.
Yep, and hey, you know what? They're humble enough to go and, hey, bite the bullet, come and restart all the way down in PMCO. Hopefully, put some of that $6,000 in their pocket. Guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after this short break. Tell your friends, get your drinks, get your popcorn, and the show gets started here in just in the next few minutes.
It's time to upgrade your PUBG mobile outfits. Coin free daily cups for solo, duo, or squads. Win Face It points. Exchange for PUBG Mobile UC. To customize your accounts, join Face It today and earn rewards. Try for free at faceit.com/PUBG Mobile.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back here. So we're about to get started here in the next few minutes. Again, let's go ahead and just do a quick little rehash for anybody that's possibly just tuning in here for the first time. This is the PMCO. So this is where it all starts for teams. This is their last chance to qualify. So it's top 8. Isn't that right, Enigma? Top 8 with some
Top
good money
8.
on the line.
Yeah, I mean, the money itself, in my eyes, is obviously a good reward for some of these teams. Maybe they've never made an amount from this game, of course, and getting that little taste of it maybe gives them a bit more of a drive to play in this sort of tournament. But in my eyes, of course, it's like you said, last chance qualifier. You're needing to be top 8. We only have 15 teams in the lobby for these matches. Top 8's the magic number for you to move on for the PMCO Grand Finals. Be in a few days, of course. But right now, I mean, we see the playing path again. A little bit different, but I'm seeing everyone able to make the same drop, so to speak.
Right down the middle. Right down the middle. So it's going to be pretty solid for a lot of these teams. Those teams that land in that Novo military base are not going to have a nice little shot here. So, again, this is only 4 games today. Only 4 games today. So every point counts here. And for those teams that are a little bit more experienced, I think it's a good opportunity for a lot more, veteran teams to just go really elimination heavy off the rip. Take advantage of those squads that have those nerves going and just put up some big points. So that way you could just be in top 8 and just be cruising for the rest of the tournament.
And I mean, kills is such a major thing. Obviously, when I used to play, the placement points mattered a lot more. People were playing a lot safer. But now, I mean, it's 10 for first. You can get that if you're finishing, 5th, 4th place with, just a few kills. So if you're wanting the points, the kills are where, the magic happens. And for these lower teams, I think it's just getting used to taking fights on the edge of zone, out of zone, in the center of zone even. And if you're having to make that play, because the later zones is when it's going to matter to me, Juke. The zone's going to start doing damage. You're going to have less space to play, and you're going to be forced to shoot your gun. So the people that are able to do that will be able to perform in my eyes. Obviously, the veteran teams like YKG and 412, they're teams that I feel can handle that. But some of these newer teams, are just, a bit of a wild card in my eyes. And I'm always rooting for the underdog. That's the point of this tournament. I'm seeing it as, me being able to scout the competition that's coming in. But right now, scouting's not going to be happening too much because it looks like Black Mamba is going to be going against 4 bros in Pachinki of all places. I was hoping there'd be no hot drop, Jukes, but it's happening.
It's happening, all right. And, this is going to be over here near Rosshawk, so there's going to be plenty of room for these teams to kind of just split up, take their own loot, and dip. So hopefully they can kind of avoid that. And it looks like that's exactly what they're doing. So nice little loot pathing. Black Mamba has to be a little bit careful here coming up this hill because they could definitely get knocked out. But it looks like they are able to make it up here for now. So, nice little start. Nothing too crazy so far. I will, going back to the point that you just made, though, hopefully we could see homeboy right here, Jassy, get a nice little snipe shot in. That'll make my dreams come true. So come on, Bob. Let's do it. Right?
Well, I always knew you were the sniper player back in the day, Jukes. There was very
back in the
few
day
people that ran the sniper that used it in comp. I love seeing it. But I think Black Mamba, the reason they moved Mac, because I think they saw Angry landed on their side of the road. They didn't get an exact pinpoint where he's at. So maybe they're a little scared of where 4 bros might possibly be. But, Black Mamba, a team that has played before in PMPL and stuff like that. I believe they had a few new names when we were looking at the, the roster lineup for them. But right now, it's kind of a bit more of a standstill. We're going to look at C4 having a split loot at the school apartments and school. I'm not too crazy about the school drop. I don't like the car spawns there. I like the compounds around it. They have great car spawns. But in my eyes, it's not my favorite spot to be.
Yeah, I'm still praying for the day that we get some dedicated vehicle spawns in PUBG Mobile Esports. That is something that I have been waiting to see. So, if anybody's watching out there, come on, make it happen. That would be awesome, I think, overall for the scene. Another thing, too, is, the bolt action, it was a weapon I loved to use back in the day. And I think it's going to be a while until we see it viable here in comp, I think some changes need to be made to it as well. My recommendation is I feel that if you knock a player with a bolt, or if they're knocked, I feel 1 bolt shot to the body should be instant elimination. While they're knocked.
Oh yeah,
and I feel that would make people pick it up a lot
armor while they're on the ground. Maybe you kind of do more damage when they're on the ground. I think they'd have to do it for every gun, unfortunately. But in my eyes, I think
the thing is, right now,
sniper back the thing with the snipers, bringing it back in my eyes would be some sort of, AR changes where, we just switch up the meta where it's like, everyone's using like 8K and like a mini, or maybe like the M249 and a sniper. The M4 meta in my eyes, it's around a long time. People are insane with that gun. And it's been people's bread and butter for the most part, but M4 is just a little too used in my eyes. And I like to see that sort of sniper play because as soon as the talent switches it up, you're able to see the action happen.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully we can see some of the action here right off the rip because here comes the four brothers against Black Mamba. You can see Echo there trying to get a little pre-nade. He's not able to get it off. He's going to go ahead and retreat back to his teammates. The whole squad is very separated. So, yeah, they realized that they had a easy elimination here. Very nice heads-up play for four bros to get aggressive right when they did.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not sure if it's really this person or not, but four bros Leon might be someone I used to play with back in the day on Wildcard. So maybe that's why we're seeing some sort of aggression out of him. He might be, I'm going to have to message him, after the day and ask him if it's him, but BLK really getting caught out with this sort of spread they were holding. I'm not sure what their game plan was. They knew four bros had a car and they knew they were looking to get aggro. And now I think it's just a matter of time, especially with the angry spot on when, the
Unknown is completely done for. Yeah, he's trying to some magic happen, and he wasn't able to. Megatron with that DBS takes him out. Yeah, if I was Unknown in that situation, the second he realized his teammate got knocked 3v1, he should have took off. But the thing is that even if he did, right, four bros had that backside covered. So he would have been knocked either way. So nice strategy here from four bros. Really just picking Mamba apart. Yeah, Papi Triste is a name that I do recognize, so hopefully he can kind of put the team on his shoulders and make something happen here.
Yeah, I mean, it's only one game. We're only playing 4 on the night, unfortunately, for some of these teams. But, if you can get a few elims as a duo, try to, salvage maybe 4 or 5 points, I think that's a win in my book because you've already put yourself on the back foot. Maybe on the last Erangel, the last map for the night, we don't drop there. Try to save ourselves, It's not like you're tucking your tail and running, even though you kind of are. It's more so just you're trying to secure yourself that safer future for the tournament.
Gotta play it safe, baby. Gotta play it safe, just in case. As we take a look at some rotations from Saturday Esports, new name for me at least. Hopefully we can see that, make something happen here, as they're going to be doing that rotation all the way from the blue zone, so they have a good solid ways away. YKG is rotating super late as well. I want to kind of counter a point that you made a little bit earlier, Enigma. When it comes to teams that play Edge, I'm going to say that I do not want YKG to do that at all.
Yeah.
Because we know that they can, right? The problem is that they tried and they had some success in the Americas Championship. Where they didn't have success, shockingly, was center zone. In the center circle, they could not hold it down. They just got pushed and taken apart bit by bit. So, and honestly, and it's crazy for me to even think that with a team so, studious. But hopefully we see YKG. I think that's something they need to level up for sure.
And I think a lot of it comes down to when you're playing center and stuff like that, if you're holding a spread especially, it comes down to the individual player's decisions. Now, for the most part, you can shoot a few shots at a car. You can kind of scare them off. You try to create this bit of a buffer between you and these other teams to give you some space, some reaction time at least to go on. But with YKG, it's, I think, more so just individual players getting caught out and then pushed because the whole meta right now is getting the knock, taking the aggression, and going for the kill points because kill points matter so much now, Jukes.
Yes, they do. Got to get them eliminations, baby. Eliminations. Let's see what's going to happen here. Circle does shift, and it looks like we are going to have that Rozhawk circle. This is always a fun one because you have that water coming right down the middle of it. It makes things really difficult because you have to kind of bet, right? Where's this next circle going to go? Is it going to center up? Will it hard shift north or south? But the good thing about this circle in general is that Yasnaya water is still inside of it. So teams can decide to rotate through that hills on Stalber and make their way in either way. So it's not a bad circle, at least when it comes to that.
Yeah, well, my favorite spot right now is where Manic's at. Somehow they've picked up 3 kills on the 4 bros while the map was up. So 4 bros down to just a solo. I'm not sure which player it is, but Did get caught out, making that sort of water rotate you were talking about. But Manic, really, a no-name team in my eyes, showing up and, fragging the team that I thought was going to be dominating this zone.
Well, it's all it takes, right? All it takes is a couple little plays. And we saw Four Bros start off so strong. But, heck, you grouped up in the wrong spot, one bad rotation, and you are out of there. So, yeah, tough for them, with only 2 elimination points and 1 player remaining. But we'll see what they can do. We'll see what that last player can do on try to scrounge up something. But we're going to see that little calm before the storm. Looks like a lot of teams have set their place for this next circle. But again, there's still so many teams that are not even in this zone. It's only stage 2.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just some of these teams maybe feel more comfortable coming in, touching the white right as the zone closes, or maybe it is the nerves of, oh my gosh, I'm not sure what's really free. We saw a team land, let's say Mansion, and we were Lipovka. Can we really get into this next zone? And I mean, this sort of map, there's a lot of open terrain, a lot of unplayable terrain for the most part. We see on the east side, yes, Naya's got a lot of open field that I personally would replay. And then, like you said, the river, the lake is still in at Rosshawk. It all comes down to, does it shift north or does it shift south?
100%. We're going to find out right now where that shift's going to happen in the next few minutes here. So, Ultron, you can see him scouting out, trying to figure out where to go. There is that dip right there next to him. It's not actually a bad spot, so they can definitely hold that down for now. And C4 is very split, so I think if you're JP, you got to be pretty quiet here, because if you make some noise and they realize it's just one person, they're going to full send out of that building. But for now, wait till next zone pops.
We're waiting. And still Rosshawk, but 412. The zone shift of the century for them. Now, in my eyes, I'd almost be scared to rotate here because it still could go north or south side, Jukes. Are you wanting to chance it? Do you try holding the spread? And it looks like Alem's actually going to rotate just before it switched off towards his team on the north side. Right now, we're seeing on the edge, these teams are starting to come in, and 21st Century is looking right down on the Jerway fan club. I'm liking the fan club name, Jukes. Not a lot of people know the Enigma fan club, but I'm all
my
for
favorite
it.
team name to say.
Yep.
Let's go. Well, let's see what's gonna happen here. Jerway's fan club right here on the edge of the circle. They're gonna hug it most likely going north, right? So they're gonna probably run into Saturn and Black Mamba, so that's something they're going to have to keep an eye on here in the next few moments. But here they go, right? They're on the rotation. That's a smart one. And lucky for them, they might catch these teams in an engagement, so they could be a good third-party opportunity for them.
Yeah, and engagement's the key word, because we're seeing right now in the kill feed as well, one YKG member killed on rotation. We're seeing C4 pick up another elimination point as well. A lot of it's just these teams are making rotates that they think are clear, and they're getting caught basically with their pants down, so to speak, of, oh my goodness, like this isn't free, this isn't open, what are we going to do? And the rotation just isn't there for some of them.
100%. Saturn looking to catch a fan club on their way into this circle. They are going to miss those shots, so they're going to try to catch them here. They're going to go to that bowl right below that hill. And that's actually not a bad location to hide out on, but it's very vulnerable if a team actually does take that hillside. So let's see if they can hold it. We're going to see OG take the top. And, man, some nades into that bowl, you are done for. So they got to be pretty careful.
Yeah, I think right now, too, they get a bit of a blessing because there's so many teams rotating as well that no one wants to stop and actually take that engagement. We see old gangsters right now. You just post it up on the south side of Rosshawk, actually sharing it with another team just to their east. Seems to be Level X. And thankfully, OG has a player on top of the hillside, able to do some sort of scouting. He gets one on a Carnage, actually, with the Scar of all guns. And some of these teams right now are really getting, just caught out and not making great plays.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? It is PMCO, so we are going to probably see some shenanigans here, but hopefully we can see teams clear it up as we're going to see some eliminations off the rip. Okay, so things are starting to get a little bit spicy here in Rosshawk. That is going to be one of the first 2 teams out of here. And, wow, Level X shut down by OG.
Yeah, and that's a team that has played these tournaments before and stuff like that. It's a recognizable name to me, but Old Gangster's really just showing up. I mean, 3 free elimination points in my eyes. I'd assume they'd be able to get the res maybe on Daku. Right as I say that, of course, he's going to get finished with the sniper of all guns. And right now, I mean, the zone is still, taking its time to close a bit. We're seeing people start to level out a bit in terms of the engagements. All the fights that happen on the edge of zone or in the center zone have kind of settled down, and we're just kind of waiting for the next zone shift.
Yeah, right now, we saw some of those bolt action shots. The bolt action is still relevant, but only for one scenario, in my opinion. When you're, outside of the circle, you need to get in, and having that bolt action could be solid to get that initial knock, right? That quick little headshot to allow your team to push up and, make it into the next circle. But other than that, it's just so tough because at M4, you get a knock, it's 100% you're thirsting them before they kind of crawl back to a tree or something like that. As opposed with the bolt, it takes like 3 or 4 to get them out. So we'll see where teams decide to go. You can see the finest 4 starting to scout things out. Blue Tiam is going to be on the rotation here. You can see them getting all nice and healed up, and hopefully we'll see them leapfrog. This is what I want to see. I don't want to see any blind rotations. So just take each spot little by little, and exactly what they're doing. So really nice scouting.
Yeah, I mean, 412, I think they see that 412 is taking the compound just south of them. The team that originally was holding a split in Sanhok and that north side of the water, they opted to take the north side, hold that sort of spread, and they're seeing them trying to make some sort of rotate, some play happen. I think there's enough in zone for them to possibly play on the north side of the hill, but it's a matter of, are you wanting to fight TF or T4F at the gas station, or are you wanting to fight 412 at a compound?
That's going to be the question here, right? You got to make a decision. And you're going to have to do it pretty quickly here. Let me take a look at the map feed and see what teams are doing. We're starting to see some other rotations go on here as we watch the finest 4 get some nice shots downrange. And they're just going to be holding this north side of the circle for now. So not a bad setup indeed. But things could change in the next few minutes for them. 1 minute, 14 seconds on the clock. This is stage 4, so this is definitely that planning phase, right? You got to know what you're going to be able to do for this next circle.
Yeah, I mean, the next zone shift, it's 50-50 essentially on where teams are at on the map. A lot of them obviously on this north side spread, just above 412 on the map. C4 is just starting to come in as well, but it looks like Blue Tiam is finally starting to take the fight with the finest 4. They're not going to opt into the fight with 412, and I'd be kind of concerned because 412 is a team in my eyes that could make the rotation and fight them, but getting caught on the rotation 1, maybe even 2 knocks by Sashu onto the Blue Tiam.
Ooh, nice little couple knocks here at finest 4. How are they going to be able to make this happen? You can see them slowly trying to creep up little by little. They got those nades locked in. That was actually a really good nade there. And one in return, but just, wow, just a little bit too short. Oh, the run over coming. Barely misses him. Nice,
yeah, I think
nice try for Mafia.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get a run over knock, but the elimination point is still there. He just heals up and goes right back at it. And, the zone's finally started to close. The spots where Blue Team could be playing is less and less. And there's the nade knock I was seeing. Ashley getting the opening, getting 2 of them. This is a 3-man squad for the first map.
Wow, now it's time to start pushing, right? Get that last final player and worry about everything else. Here we're going to see Exidos. Just full lay down play. He's going to get these shots off, so you got to be careful. Never underestimate a snake in the grass.
I mean,
oh, and they're not.
Yeah,
they're
I
not
mean,
paying attention.
if I'm in his spot, we've got 3 limbs. Maybe I just add 1 more because in my eyes, I'm not hitting the 1v3. I'm getting 2, maybe 1, maybe 2. But we're in this position now. One of them, Mafia got caught out on the rotate. This could be the play for Xenos.
I love the patience from him right now. Love the patience. Is he going to get spotted, though? He's getting shot from somebody. Oh, that's all the way from C4.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. So that third-party chance. Oh, nice trigger discipline. I will say that, for Blue Tiam. Just unfortunately, his little toesies got spotted all the way from across the map by C4. And that sick play shut down. But look at this C4. 7 eliminations. This is one of those teams I was talking about, right? They did so well in the Titan Series finals, and now they're ripping through PMCO here with 7 eliminations to start.
Yeah, I mean, on the map right now, they're not even anywhere near the zone. They're holding the edge on the east side. They're trying to clear out, make sure that they have as much control as possible. Because if I'm them, I'm looking in the Roshan, and I'm seeing a car in every other building. There's no way that you're going to allow someone to come behind you. You're able to just hold the zone and then farm the people that go in the river.
Gotta make some plays, baby. Gotta make those plays. Let's see how that farming's gonna happen. Alim, one of the big bright stars. I think that's what we're gonna see push through NA here really shortly. 412 Nomads rocking a 3-man. Oh, and look at Crow. Wow, look at that buggy going absolutely everywhere. Ash barely able to survive, but that should be it for here. Uh-oh, DBS. Yeah, Lim said, let me just back up just in case.
Yeah.
But they
I wouldn't be trusting myself with that. I'm getting hit first too. I did a little bit of a pre-fire and didn't get any shots in him. I'm not taking the chance. But 412, full aggression on that hillside. They were watching the kill feed. They had all the positioning in the world to make the moves around the map. But someone that doesn't really have a lot of space is YKG, opting to play under the bridge of all things, being a little bit of a bridge troll. I'm personally a fan of it, but, you know, they're only down to 3 players. I'd like to see Joey still alive, but unfortunately he's not. He got caught out on rotate earlier in the game. But C4 now taking their sights onto 412 of all teams.
Ooh, okay, all right. And C4, they're running it, so the confidence is there. Look at that, Psych with 3 eliminations by himself, JP with 2. So the squad is definitely feeling themselves. Let's see if they can continue with that. They have actually a really dominant position in the zone as well, so they could be the winners here of this map very easily. But, man, we're starting to see those point sponges here at the top for sure. You got 412 right next to C4. If these guys start focusing on everybody else, I mean, this is their game to win. Especially because, look, most of the teams here are all the way on the south side of Rosshawk.
Yeah, I mean, Rosshawk is just a spot that a lot of these teams opted to go into. I think it comes down to those, you know, teams that are comfortable making the rotates. We're dealing with inexperienced players taking these sort of fights. But Fears right now, a name that has been in the Americas, PMPL, PMCOs, you name it. I'm going to take a 1v3 position onto OG. Gets one up to the second. Kiddu gets it. And, you know, I like the idea, but I'm YKG. We're already on the bridge. We see the zone shift as well. We have a position in the zone. Why are we not trying to, you know, condense down a bit more? Give up that south side. Because now we're just a duo on YKG.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. YKG is one of those teams that just kind of, they horrify me, right? Because they're such a stacked roster. I think that they should just absolutely run over everybody in this tournament with how much experience they have amongst each other. Yeah, you know, they make these decisions, and part of me wants to, like, believe that, oh, these are decisions because, hey, you know what? They're YKG, right? They're just having fun. It's PMCO, no big deal. But then, like, you know, we see them have those same mistakes in latter stages. So I want to see them fix it sooner than later. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, fixing it is the main thing, but, you know, I'm not... ASAP, is that what we call it? AS1, taking the 1v1 with an S12, gets the win, of course, with it. Had no doubt in my mind about it, but team that's really feeling the pressure is a team that has 1 elimination now. They were sitting at 0 for most of the map. Is 21st Century on this little wizard tower.
Okay, all right. They're just outside of the circle, so they're going to have to push into C4 here. But C4 is so well set up that I don't think they allow 21st Century to even move. You're seeing a ton of smokes come out. And now here come the nades. This one from Sight could be dangerous. Oh, and it's good.
It's like one of them gets knocked. He's got another.
They're getting picked apart.
I mean, it's still just the one knock. C4, we could see the kill spread too. It's not just one player dominating. It's everyone on this roster playing as a team and getting the elims. 21 or 21st Century is really, you know, it's a new team. I'm wanting to see them not get caught out here and try to at least go for a play. Fight C4, maybe send YKG, do something. Instead of, you know, maybe just sitting still and waiting for the zone to try to help you out.
Gotta agree, right? At a certain point, you gotta know when it's time to just let it loose and go full-fledged aggressive. Here goes Master with some nice shots, but just get out-angled by Psych. And Psych, man, really just letting 21st Century have it. They gotta worry because the zone is starting to close. 43 seconds on the clock. They probably only have like 20 left because this zone is gonna punish them, but that return knock on that nade really gives them some room to breathe here. And here they go. They gotta run in.
Yeah, and I mean, we can see in the back two, 412 starting to make a rotate themselves along the backside, almost just sandwiching C4, the team with the most eliminations in the lobby. And now 21st Century putting themselves, getting 2 knocks through the
Wow!
smoke. And I think C4 is all eliminated.
Wow, only one player up left for C4. They just spread themselves too thin, right? They were focusing on too many teams.
Yeah.
I think that JP should have just went down there, cleared out 21st Century, and then, you know, deal with 412 a little bit later. But, you know, now you can see him trying to make some shots. That nade looks pretty solid. Oh, he does get 1 knock, though. Let's see what JP can do with himself by himself.
Yeah, Gunpain, a little bit of a prone action, trying to almost like play body block for his teammates. Got a little bit of a buggy. The nade's coming out, might hit it. Doesn't do any damage at all. 412 really needing to clean up this fight because Alim's across the map. If JP gets another knock, it's essentially a 1v1 with Crow.
Got him! Oh, wow, I thought that was 100% a knock, but it just barely misses the mark. He's down to like 1 HP. Is he going to be able to perfectly land this on the baton? Got him! There we go. So,
yeah, I mean, both
baton sky.
You know, Gunpain did get the heal off, so it's still, you know, a 2v1. JP's got to start to salvage this a bit more for his team. They do have the elims, but these nade jukes, I'm not sure how they're not getting knocked right now.
Dude, JP had like 0 HP. He had to boost up to 1 HP. That's how low he was, so he's still just a little thorned in the side of 412. I'm surprised that 412 isn't being a little bit more aggressive here. They definitely want to clear him out sooner than later so they can control this whole side of the map. So the longer they wait, the riskier it gets. I know it's tough with these smokes and that angle, but at a certain point, you really got to start turning it up. And look at this. A limb gets caught. And YKG as a duo looking very deadly with how much room they're being given right now.
Yeah, and I mean, Chico is just the name in my eyes that makes, you know, any of these sort of disadvantageous situations become, you know, in their favor. Getting the knock, getting the kill. Alim was the one holding that far west side of the map. I think that's why 412 didn't take the aggression. Maybe he's calming. I need you to rotate back to me. You guys need to clean that up. And the nades, I mean, if the nades hit their jukes, this is a whole different map play out. But unfortunately, that's not the case. YKG now fighting 412, it seems, on this hillside in the next few seconds. And 21st Century opting to just stay on this little, you know, turtle up rat play on the east side of the zone.
I'm telling you right now, YKG can win this game, right? They have a lot of zone priority. If 412 doesn't take them out here and now, they can win this. And look at that. Oh, Chico does get knocked in return, though. And right on time. And the rest of the team, as the final player from YKG, isn't going to be there to get that support going. He's too far away. So, yeah, down goes Chico, eliminated. Man, if his teammate was right there next to him, who knows what could have happened.
I think that's a lot of just Crow having some great overwatch for his teammate. Baton getting caught out with a nade of all things. At least, you know, I'd want you to have your gun out there, but Crow really hitting shots when it mattered most. And 21st Century now, they get a bit of zone blast. It shifts on this east side again, so they're able to play the snake play. But 412 now, they have the cars. I'd like to see a buggy play at some point, but I feel like they need to clear out the last player of YKG to make that happen.
All right, well, let's see what the Gun King can do. I mean, we can still see a YKG win if this final player from YKG times this perfectly. But he's going to probably have to win a 1v1 with Crow here in the next few minutes. But look at this. Can Crow take those shots down range? He does. Perfectly timed. Wow, that was almost like a bait shot right there. They were all focused on him. And wow. Oh my goodness, Lux goes down. Gunpain with the 1v3. Beautifully done.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a lot of just Crow shooting just 1 or 2 bullets, having everyone turn instantly, and then Gunpain just peeking in the 3 kills. Crow now finding the last player, not getting the knock just yet. The easy prone. I wouldn't suggest it, but they get the last, and it's a 1v3 now with the last YKG player.
412, this is the team I talked about right off the rip that I really expect to do great things here in PMCO, and they're looking to win this. Here goes Crow, pushing up with that DBS. That's the weapon to have. Uh-oh, he does get 1 knock. Get 2, but Crow is going to shut him down. It's going to be a 412 Nomads win here.
Yeah, I mean, 412, they held that north side. They had the Rostock split, and right as the zone shift mattered most, they opted to take control of the north side and then start clearing out the edge. So I love seeing the game plan from them. They all seem to be, you know, in each other's shoes, in each other's minds, knowing exactly what the player wants from you and where you should be playing in those zones.
100%. What do you think about YKG in that last match?
I mean, they made the rotate along the bridge. I didn't like Fears' spot of playing for the 1v3 on the OG, of all things. That's not a team. Even though, they're not a named team, I still wouldn't disrespect them like that. But Chico and, their star player that has come, I'm not sure who it is with that name tag, but making that West rotate, catching A-Lim off, that was the huge turning point, I think, for YKG, because he's in a spot where 412 at any point could have rotated back. They could have gone for that sort of gunfight with them, but instead he gets caught out, and they almost salvaged it. Came down to, those crucial shots from Crow in that latter, 7th zone. But YKG making the rotates, it's showing that they're able to perform even with the player disadvantage, and that's how every player in this lobby should feel.
100% here. Uh-oh. Okay. I thought we saw a nice little finish there with that bolt action. We'll take it. We'll take it. And yeah, this is those plays we saw a little bit later on into the match here on this hill. Great effort, I think, from both of these squads. Just lacking a little bit of that hyper aggression when the time counts. I will give it to the Finest Four, though, for taking out players little by little here from this. But hey, you know what? All it came down to was 4-1-2. Their control of this north side was so solid, and this is what I expect to see from a team with their level of experience, right? I like the fact that we're seeing the same team here, right?
Yep.
So I love squads that stick together and decide to put in the effort, right? Because I think that's NA's biggest curse, is after a bad tournament, constantly swapping out players. And let's be real, I mean, what it looks like, unless I'm not sure exactly who that tag is from YKG, but that looks like a new player to me.
Yeah, and I mean, new players, maybe that's what YKG needs. Whether it's, teaching him or her, of course, how they like the game to be played, how they want their teammate to play. Or it's, someone that's experienced that's telling them, hey, you guys aren't recognizing these individual mistakes. Let me help you. Let me, put you in positions where this wouldn't happen. And a lot of these teams, I mean, we can go back time and time again about it. We see the roster changes. I don't like seeing more than one player getting swapped. And 4-1-2 showing here, especially in this clip, just the team synergy, the idea of knowing what your role is at certain parts of the map and being able to get the shots down when it matters.
100%. As we take a look here at the overall ranking, it looks really good.
Oh.
Hopefully we get that off the screen here. And there it is, 4-1-2 Nomads with 22 total points. That's a really good, solid start there. YKG with 15 in second, and then C4 in third with 11.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the top 3 teams or teams that recognize 412 Nomads, YKG, C4 Esports. They've done these tournaments before, and the elimination points speak for themselves. I mean, 7 for third place. Everyone else on the on the leaderboard right now, 4th through 8th, is only at 4 or 5 elimination points. Not a lot of placement points. So these teams are showing not only can they get the placement points, but they're getting the elimination points to back it up.
100%. So that's going to be your top 8, folks, as we look at the rest of the leaderboards. And remember, it's 15 teams. This is a 16-team tournament, but we had one that was not able to make it. So 15 squads here. The second page, pretty bone dry. So we're going to see 3 teams pull up the big donut. Saturn with only 1 point. There's still 3 more matches left to go, right? So all it takes is a good couple games, and hopefully that'll secure you into top 8. But it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. A lot of teams are going to be hunting that down, making decisions, and it's going to be hard, especially when you got squads like 4-1-2, right? T4, and even YKG putting in work and soaking up a lot of those eliminations.
Yeah, and I mean, the elimination points are really what's going to determine if these teams can go from that 9th to 8th place ranking. We saw at the bottom, I mean, 3 teams with 0 points, and I'd be worried, Jukes, going into these next 2 or 3 games of, are those same teams dropping 0 kills? At that point, in my eyes, it's a lot of just, what is your mindset going into the tournament? You should be going into the next day, if it ever gets to that point. I'd like to see these people, turn on the switch, go for the aggression, and go for the fights, but it's all going to come down to, how do you perform on the first day? First day, especially with it being only 4 games, is so crucial, in my eyes, that you need to turn up and you need to turn on at some point.
100%. But hopefully we can see some of these teams turn on a little bit sooner rather than later. We're going to be right back, guys, right after this break. we're back. You have Hot Chicks here with Enigma, and we're going to be starting up in Sanhok here in just a couple of moments. So, game one is out the way. I mean, I'm glad it was in Erangel, so teams can kind of get their fingers warmed up a little bit. But I hope they're warm here, Enigma, because Sanhok is coming up, and it don't mess around.
Yeah, I mean, the snakes on Sanhok are not pleasant to say the least. I mean, thankfully, you know, it's only 15 teams for these players. It's one less team you have to worry about, whether they're in zone or on the edge of zone. But right now we see it, you know, the playing path, and we can see it from the top. The map's all green. I'm not too much of a fan of trying to spot players in the grass. I was never good at it. I'm not sure if you were, Jukes, but in my eyes, I absolutely hate those end games that aren't in compounds.
Gotta agree with you. It's not fun. That is for sure. So, hopefully we could see something happen here. Something happen. We need to, that's for sure. But we're going to see some teams hopping out really quickly out the plane. And again, this is Sanhok, so pretty much no matter where the plane path goes, you're able to go anywhere you want. And it looks like 412 is going to be blocking down this entire side of the map to themselves. Wow.
Wow. I mean, no one even went cave or campong. I mean, obviously we have level X just north of them around Paradise where C4 landed. But this is a 3-team fight in the middle of the map, Jukes.
Let's go! Boot camp, baby! Lobster building, getting turned up. Man, this reminds me of the good old hot drops. Oh, look at this, Poppy Trise. He's got that Tommy trying to make it happen here. Some of these teams are very used to this building and dealing with these hot drops. Hopefully someone got some good weapons. But, man, OG is on the outside, going to be waiting for this battle. And if they time it perfectly, they can just clean up all these eliminations. Not an easy fight, for
yeah,
sure.
I like seeing from OG too that they didn't immediately push in when the gunshots went down. They waited for the kill feed to show up and see, you know, if anyone got those elimination points, saw if there was any sort of action that they could capitalize on. But, you know, they're opting to take a little bit more time, loot up. Black Mamba especially, you're talking about Poppy Triste. I think they have an idea that one player's above them on the finest four, but just trying to group up and make that sort of aggression onto the ISO player.
100%. So let's see how it's going to turn out. Right now, the calm before the storm. You're going to see teams playing it very carefully. They know how bad of a spot they're in right now, so they're going to try to play this as solid as possible, but it's definitely not the best scenario for, I think, either of these squads, because OG is just waiting to see who's going to be the winners of the lobster building.
Yeah, and I think both of them have an idea that OG is on the outside. They must have at least counted, you know, the parachutes when you drop in, seeing that, hey, you know, it's not just one team here, it's two. So, in my eyes, I'm wanting to see these teams in Lobster either rotate around the outside and fight OG, maybe even just rotate the zone, or force the fight in Lobster and get this over with. Because we talked about it before the first match, we don't want to see teams getting gridlocked on the edge of the zone, waiting it out, kind of like we're seeing right now. So, hopefully Black Mamba, it looks like OG is going to be the team that starts taking space, but hopefully Black Mamba starts taking some aggression.
Goodness gracious. Well, I don't know if you guys are watching the map feed, but this zone is going to be a fun one. It has gone all the way to the northeastern side. So Saturn is going to be big chilling. YKG's up there as well. So that's going to be fun to watch in the next few minutes. So these teams need to get this fight done sooner than later, or they just need to leave.
Yeah, and I mean,
sometimes
at that
it's the
point,
best
too,
option.
if you were the boot camp team, I mean, Toxic for Life is on the west side of the river. Even if you were to make the rotate out, let's say you're OG and you rotate away, Black Jets, but knowing that, because Black Mama now finally taking the aggression, gets two with the AK spray with Eco.
Oh
man, but it's
Poppy Triste goes down.
2v1, I think, Jukes. Ashi was able to get one well, and now OG. Oh my goodness, they're coming in like sharks.
Oh, man, I can't say I didn't see it coming. Look at this. OG cleaning up the fight. And this is what I was talking about when you deal with these hot drops, especially when you have a third team on the outside. You got to recognize it's a lose-lose, right? Even if we win this engagement, we have to deal with a full team of OG that's just waiting like sharks in the water. And Echo looking like chum right now.
Yeah, and I mean, we can look at the KP as well onto OG. They're at 4 already. That means even in the knocks that weren't theirs, they're finishing, they're picking up the elimination points that Black Mamba desperately wanted out of this game, playing like this. So now it's just Eco 1v4 situation, and I don't see him really ever getting out of this, Chicks.
Eco needs to go sicko right now, and he has no vest, a DPS, and gets taken out by a nade. So down goes Black Mamba, just like that. And YKG getting into it with 4 bros here. They do have a couple knock. Chico looking to go clean some players up. You got to deal with, I think that's Black Mamba coming in through the other side. Actually, no, it's not. So this is going to be an interesting fight. I think that's what, Blue Titan? Yeah, Blue Titan coming right down the road from them. They got to be careful.
Yeah, and they were fighting 4 bros, but unfortunately Joey was in a 1v4 situation when this was going down with Blue Tiam. So a lot of it's just, I mean, I like the idea from YKG trying to hold this other team back, but you gotta recognize everyone sees the same, kill feed and stuff. They're seeing the eliminations go down. You're only gonna be one person there. No matter how many shots you put into them, one person can only shoot so much. So a little bit of a misplay, I think, from YKG. They do pick up 3 elimination points, though. They only lose the 1 player, saving them, I guess, a spot to fight Blue Tiam. But, I mean, it's always just at a disadvantage now for him.
100%. Yeah, it's not looking pretty, that's for sure. So hopefully we can see them figure it out. It's YKG going to have to play a little bit quiet here, trying to get a nice little reset. It's going to be easier said than done, though, that's for sure. So we're starting to see Blue Tiam just creep up little by little. You can see Xenos, snaking his way to greatness. It's always difficult to hold these buildings because you know where players are going to be. So just might as well just throw nades in every single window you can and try to catch one of them slipping. Yeah,
and we can see Twix on the far south side too. They're making sure, Blue Tiam, that there's no one on this west side trying to rotate into him. Let's make sure that 4 bros is in here, but rotate that I'm not too much of a fan of is 21st Century getting caught out in a boat of all things by Level X.
And you know what? The boatate, it's Sanhok. Always fun to see, but is definitely not always the best strategy, right? As we can see, Carnegie. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going on a roll here. As Master is going to go down in the water.
Yeah, I mean, you're 1 HP. You don't really have zone on your side, and essentially, at some point it's going to be 4 players seeing you in the water. So Level X, hopefully they pick up this elimination point in the water. They're able to spot him and pick it up because I believe he was knocked zone. So he gets eliminated to the water. Not sure if Carnegie will be able to pick that up, but still good from Level X. I'm not sure where the rest of 21st Century is, but it looks like Blue Tiam is still just doing this sort of, circling. They're closing down on YKG, which they know is all in a building, but I'd be a little bit scared pushing the building because, there's 2 stories. We've got someone with a DBS, someone with an M249. I'd be taking every precaution trying to wipe out YKG here.
100%. As we can see, this next zone, we're right locked on to this beautiful island. It's going to be a fun one to watch, that's for sure. So we can see these teams trying to haul it as fast as they can and get into this next circle. Meanwhile, I mean, this is the dream situation for teams that land on this island, right? This is what they really bet on. Because if it doesn't go on their way, we're going to have a hard time getting up points. If it does, you have a huge chance to get like a 20 elimination chicken dinner. So hopefully we see teams like, Saturn Sports, which only had 1 point in the last game, really bounce back here.
Yeah, I mean, it's always the first game. As long as, in my eyes, you get some elimination points, you start, keeping the blood flowing, you keep the fingers moving, and you're able to get that sort of concept of we need to be taking gunfights, we need to be making these plays. Because if you're going out 16th or 15th, stuff like that, with 0 elimination points, it just feels horrible.
100%. Yeah, I don't want to be caught in that position, that's for sure. So hopefully we can see them bounce back, because this is one of those dream scenarios, right? You don't always get circles like this, and here we go. YKG getting into it.
Yeah, I mean, Fear's got the opening knock. Bet on the player not covering the window. Gets a little bit of a quick peek shotgun shot with the DBS Twix. I believe getting reset as well. But YKG, I'd like to see them take a bit more of an aggressive stance here, prevent the res, and just take up the straight 3v3.
Yeah, let's see what they decide to do. And you can see Xenos just waiting, trying to figure out his best time to strike. And things are starting to get interesting here. As YKG Fears catches one of them slipping. Nice play.
Yeah, I mean, this is the idea of DBS is so hard to push if you don't have them, because, I mean, it's one shot. That's all you need to land. Someone with the hands of Fears being able to hit shots like he usually does. Oh my goodness, and it's just another knock on his Twix.
Wow.
It's going to be a 1v4 maybe on Fears.
Exynos
1v2.
clutching it up. Fears going to have to do something. What is he going to do? He comes down. Got to make a play. He's got that M249. That's a good gun to have. And unfortunately, not able to hold it down. Blue Tiam taken out. The monster squad, that's YKG.
Yeah, Xenos having 3 eliminations for his squad, really pulling through, taking that 1v1. Personally, I would have liked to see him wait, but, I mean, he already had the 2 knocks onto YKG. He's feeling the 3rd one. Might as well go for it.
Hey, sometimes you just got to send it. You know what I'm saying? Just got to send it. Now, let's take a look on more inwards here. We're going to look at Twisted Militia getting into it 4-1-2. Nice little start with 2 eliminations. It looks like Ronnie does go down, though. Gunpan's going to get the nice double knock. So, beautifully done here from 4-1-2 Nomad, shutting down this push. And he's going to get all 3. Wow, see, Twisted Militia. Ooh, and you gotta shoot the second your head barely peeks over. He just full bodied and just got taken out.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it was just he's getting calm that, you know, he's on my body, like peek over, shoot him at least, get the thirst, but Crow already anticipating that, hey, you know, the last players can do whatever, but Jukes, we see the map on the top right. C4 is in my favorite spot on Sanhok on top of the mountain because you talk about these 20 elimination games. This is looking like the spot for them.
Ooh, let's see. Let's see, right? You got C4 looking real pretty here. This is definitely the this is the dream, right? This is the dream. You wait for scenarios like this because if you're in this kind of spot, you should be just straight good to go. But, you know, still mistakes can happen, right? We want to see them finish in this scenario. I think that's a big mistake a lot of teams do is, you know, they get into a great position like this, but they're still not able to close the game. But C4, I know is a team that can do it. So let's see if they make it happen here in the club and right to start off. Blue Tiam, look at this. Getting some nice shots on the Joy Boy. Man, not able to use that Gear 5 Luffy power.
Yeah, the back of the buggy is not my favorite thing. Unfortunately, I was the one usually on it when I played, so I got shut off of it a lot. But Blue Tiam opting to stay on this north side of the zone. They saw the zone shift was towards them and figured, hey, you know, someone's probably coming through the water. The 21st century, I felt like they should have anticipated this a bit more, Jukes. Fortunately for them, they only lose the 1 player. But now, you know, we can see even 2. I didn't realize. On the west side, Level X has full sights on a 21st century.
Ooh, all right, here we go. So let's see what they're going to do here. Oh, yeah, they do. Oh, this should be good. Dizzy does have that little rock that's helping him out. But they do spot Lux. So Lux is, oh, man, he's in a bad spot right here, especially with the zone closing right now. So let's see if he can just barely make his way up that rock side. He's going to have to put on his climbing shoes, that's for sure.
Look at this. So we see the match pour right now for Blue Tiam. Already 5 eliminations, essentially 800 damage, and we're only in the 3rd stage. Players right next to him that are, you know, basically just swimming in the water. Luck still, I mean, it's only inevitable that you fall to, you know, to Level X or Blue Tiam at this point. I don't see him really making it in, but, you know, you never know. It's PUBG Mobile. They could pull through, and just a little bit of, you know, shots going down range. Some of these teams, a little bit of a stagnant point, I feel, in the match. But this next zone shift, I mean, if it goes to C4 on the Mountain Jukes, I think it's going to be over for a lot of these teams.
I think so, too. It's definitely not going to look like the easiest situation for these teams here playing on this edge. Let's see where the zone goes, though, because if it does stay in this spot, that'll be really solid, especially for a team like Blue Tiam. But I doubt it. I think the zone's going to probably hard shift south towards C4. What do you think? Tell me. Where's it going?
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying it's going just to the east of Oz on C4. OG's going to get a bit of a blast. Never mind, it centers on Oz. There's a few compounds still that people can play, but the problem is getting to the compounds. Like, Level X is holding every single compound that you could run to. Blue Tiam is starting to realize this. I think they have a bit of hot tin still in play. But my worry right now for C4 would be dealing with 412 because I'm seeing Bond start to back up the mountain right as 412 starts working in. It could be really unfortunate timing for the squad to really get caught out in the back.
I think you said it. I couldn't have said it any better myself right there. So let's see how things are going to turn out here as we can look at the big fan club trying to put some more points on the board. I want to see the teams, the reigning members of C4, though, catch up here with their center player. If they're able to all kind of hold that center hillside, they could definitely soak up some big points. But instead, it looks like Bond is going to have to deal with 4-1-2. Yeah, Gunpain is very close by, but fortunate for Bond, we're going to see another team, right? I think this is Maniac right below them.
Yeah, and I mean, they have the cars. It looks like they're going to rotate in. Crow getting caught out by Bond. Actually was spotted on the flip side, but Manic, oh my goodness.
Woo!
Noda getting sprayed out of the car. Saturn, the team that you wanted to see pick up the eliminations, get a little bit more points on the board, looking like they're in a good spot.
They are looking really good here. We know how they finished, though. Okay, nice little push. Beautifully executed. All right, they're taking out Maniac bit by bit here. They're going to have to deal with one final player here. He does have that DBS. That is dangerous. Ghost plays. Oh, that was too close. As soon as he heard that DBS, he said, help! Help me!
I think he grazed him, but one of Saturn is on that west side of the road. I think they're just going to wait for him to peek over. There it is, and getting the elimination points. That's a full squad wipe for Saturn, who is a 3-man, really picking up points that they needed, and it allows them to get into the zone because you know that's one of the only teams on your south side. You can maybe even use their cars to rotate in, Jukes.
100%. Yeah, so Saturn, right, making it work, right? A very favorable circle. They did lose one player a little bit earlier, but they put some nice points on the board, but they did it the hard way. That's the thing. Meanwhile, let's look at 21st.
Yeah.
How they're going to do this. You're going to see Level X getting some nice shots downrange, putting in some points on the board. Beautiful for them. And right now, the leaders, though, is going to be OG, the old gangsters, with 5 eliminations. You can see them. They're all the way on the east side, and this is a very good zone for them, right? They're going to be able to push in very, very easily, and C4 being so split could be troublesome here.
Yeah, and I mean, we see the last 2 C4 players on that southeast side of the map. They're not, I think they're a little bit too slow in clearing this OG positioning. We see them already spreading out onto the top of the mountain. And C4 could really just get shot on the side from an angle that they thought maybe no one was just playing even.
100%. So let's see what happens here. Yeah, Saturn trying to find a way. They do end up making it to that little building. I think that should be in the next circle. Actually, yeah, it is. So it's barely right on the edge. So good for them. They're going to live for a little longer. But yeah, leaving that spot's going to be very tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those plays where you're just hoping the zone shifts somewhat close to you. Now, the blessing is if it shifts southwards at all on the zone, the fan club's going to have to move first from this compound. Now, they are only 3-man, but it's essentially just, okay, we can at least shoot them. We can pick up the 4 elimination points. Maybe one of us makes it to the cliffside, but they try to go for some sort of taxi play. Saturn gets absolutely just beamed out of the car. Fantasy really, I didn't like that play a lot, but looks like they're getting some answers back.
Yeah, you know what? Gotta try something, you know, and definitely not the best execution. There are other players stuck out near the blue zone. I think he's gonna get crushed on here. Yeah, so down goes Ondok unless he hits the most insane shots we've ever seen, because this blue zone is gonna chunk. He has to run.
Yeah, and I mean, I gotta
just spray.
ask,
I don't know why we're not seeing sprays through the smoke here.
Would you ever just leave Andak in that position? I mean,
oh yeah, I mean he's done for. He's done for.
Had been eliminated off of his teammate being caught out in the zone, and now it's just down to the one Saturn player. I'm not liking that decision. I'd rather lose 1 than 2, Jukes. I'd rather just left him on the zone, and you know, hey, you know, you did your job. You got the 1 kill on the compound crash earlier. Just let us play our game now.
I will tell you, though, I thought that was the fan club that got that elimination. It wasn't. It was actually Bond from C4.
Wow.
So C4 just really got that point quick. And look at this, right? This is that perfect scenario, right? When you get this kind of high ground, you should just be looking down, soaking up points like a madman. And that's what they're doing, right? Solid eliminations with 8 so far. Looking good.
See, and I'd like to see old gangsters try to make the rotate up the mountain possibly. Now, thankfully, they are 4-man. They're able to make the cliff under the cliff. Maybe the fan club and all these teams on the edge of zone get eliminated before OG gets exposed to it. But a lot of it's going to come down to, I felt like it's been, this exact zone has been played in ESL way back in the day, if my memory serves me right. And it all comes down to the team that hugs the cliffside under C4 and the team where C4's at. So only time will tell now if these teams can be tried and true and be able to get these elimination points and these points that matter the most, in my opinion, on the day.
Look at that, 8 eliminations, 1,600 damage dealt. So wow, what a crazy conversion. And they're going to be getting a lot more damage because they're just poking at everybody. They got to watch out, though. They don't run out of ammunition because you'll be surprised. You're going to need some of that ammo for the rest of the game. Now, do they have any vehicles to get down this mountain? That's going to be my question.
I think there's a few little like cliffs they could drop down onto, but for the most part, it actually looks like one of them's already down all the way in the sniper tower. Looks like Poppy's or Payne is down there, holding off the fan club. But OG still on the cliffside. I'd like to see them start to get a little bit more aggressive under C4 and try to take out these, I guess, pressure points that C4 has on the map.
100%. All right, those pressure points are starting to get more painful as second by second here. Let's see what the play is going to be. As yeah, look at these shots. What do you think about that?
I mean, he's in the compound right now, you know, this little sniper tower, but Bond tried to make the drop down for his teammate. I think he's going to get reset. Crazy that he got revived there, but C4 really feeling, you know, the pressure of just, you know, they didn't have a safe way down the mountain. I really like seeing what Fan Club did and holding off that drop spot to make sure that, you know, hey, he's going to take damage dropping down this, and C4 is going to be in a horrendous spot to actually hold you from the zone. So JFC actually pushing onto C4 now, the team that had the prime position.
Oh boy, and here they go. Yeah, they're taking him out little by little. Wow, Jerway's Fan Club really shutting them down here as that zone closes. Bond, the last one up, gets a nice knock there with that DVS. Go for those finishes, get those points. He said, I'm going to take them all, baby. GG Bond, 13 eliminations on the side of C4. Last player up. He's in a terrible spot, but man, is he making it happen with that M4 on his back.
Yeah, but I mean, look at Xenos as well. He's on the north side. He could be the spoiler for old gangsters. I don't think they know where the last fourth players. Maybe they think he's healing off, but Xenos finally taking the shots. Bond, it's a 1v1 position, Jukes.
1v1! He goes down to 1 HP! I thought he was going to survive! But he gets taken out, and it's the old gangsters stealing away that chicken dinner. Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even really sure if I could consider it a steal because C4, the Fan Club, all those teams were on that east side. One of them was on the mountain, one of them was down below. They took the fight. Now, Bond, I think, hit an insane 1v3 or something. It had to have been onto the Fan Club. And OG maybe playing it a little too passive. They could have pushed up sooner. But in the end, you know, Xenos helping out, getting it down to the 1v1 situation, and Daiku winning it out. So props to them. We love to see it, but my eyes just, you know, what happened with C4's mountain play. I'd like to have seen more eliminations. Maybe it was enough for you, Jigs, but what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, when you're in that kind of spot, we want to see 20 elimination chicken dinners, right? I don't think I'll be too sad with 13 in second place. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you're C4, you're still pretty stoked with that game. Regardless, I mean, we're allowed to nitpick here and there because, you know, C4 is a team that, you know, you and I definitely got to see put in work during the Titan series. So we want to see a little bit more perfection, you know. But at the end of the day, this is PMCO. So this is that chance for you to really, you know, practice and just fix your mistakes little by little.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in here as well with 21st Century. They were able to get into that later part of the zone. They didn't, you know, go out with just the 1 point, I believe. Some of these teams, though, are really starting to fall behind because we're seeing the consistency happen with teams like C4, with 412, even with OG. The first map I felt was a little bit more quiet from them for OG, old gangsters. But now, I mean, it seems like they're really starting to find their stride in these matches.
Interesting. The old gangsters definitely are. The question is, are they the original gangsters? We're going to have to find out here as time goes on. You can see, look at that. C4 definitely putting some work here from the high ground. But I don't think they had vehicles, right, to really get down in that position.
No. I think here, right on this right side above Payne, they were dropping down even to get into the safe spot, just down to 1 HP. But unfortunately, you know, the Fan Club not finding the safest way to push up. I'd like to see them all just kind of just full send it up onto them. Some of them kind of rotated into zone. It resulted in them not being able to take shots. But the match rankings, C4 Esports, of course, in first place without many elimination points. They had only 6 placement points with 13 eliminations. Bold Gangsters in second. They were the ones that won the round. Of course, 8 eliminations to them for a total of 18 points. And Blue Tiam, team in the first map that, you know, was looking semi-decent, putting up a decent performance in the second map.
Yes, indeed. Decent performance is definitely, I think, an understatement, because these guys put in some good work here. You can see Old Gangsters with that bounce back, 18 points. This squad's definitely got to be hyped, so it's good to see them make those adjustments here in the second game. Next map is going to be Miramar, okay? So the big boy map. We'll see what can happen when that happens. YKG with only 3 points there going out.
Wow.
So, man, I'm shocked to see YKG struggling. I will keep saying it, you know. I mean, YKG, come on, baby. Right? I know, I don't know why, I don't know. I don't know what else to say, because YKG, I think, should be the team here in first place, like, undoubtedly. This is still super early. I know it's only 2 games, guys, right? But if there's any team I'm going to be hard on, it's a team like them, because, I mean, they're just such veterans here in the A scene.
Listen, I mean, in my eyes, it's a little bit of a give for them because, you know, they were contested by 2 other teams on Sanhok. So they did essentially win 1 fight. The other team came in third partied. And we can all say, you know, obviously they shouldn't have taken the fight. Maybe let the other teams fight. But if you land in the middle, it's inevitable to happen. So my, you know, judgment of them will come in on the Miramar match. If they don't really perform there, a map that is a lot of just terrain and, you know, map rotation. A huge part of this map in terms of fighting, especially early game fighting, is knowing what the terrain looks like in front of you, where people like to play. And in my eyes, they have, you know, the pieces of the puzzle. They just have to put it together on Miramar to come back into this, you know, top 8 ranking.
Goes to show you, right? No matter how good you are, you can always count on Sanhok being brutal to you. So, hey, a couple more matches left to go, guys. So anyway, we're going to be right back. we're back. What's up, everybody? It's Jukes here with Enigma. And we got 2 games down out the way, so we saw some nice Sanhok action. That was actually a really fun game to watch there. It was cool to see C4 just pop off. We got to see some nice little 1v3 plays. Love to see that. I love to see old gangsters get a win, too. I like seeing newer squads really, put themselves in good positions, get wins here in PMCO, because that's what's going to give you that confidence going into the, not just, later days here, but possibly into future tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, the confidence is the key word for it all. Obviously, it's just getting used to that sort of pressure. And I mean, if you're winning in that sort of pressure, I mean, it's unspeakable how much of a magnitude that speaks in terms of giving you confidence, giving you that faith in yourself if you don't have it, faith in teammates, and faith in the way you want to play the game. Because right now, I mean, we talked about it before for the first match. We're wanting to see new talent come in, whether it's not teams do already. Maybe it's unconventional in most people's eyes. Why not try it here and see if it works? You can go to the next step after to try to improve it. Maybe not do it later on, but in my eyes, it's, trying to get that foot in the door of, playing the game how you want to play it.
Gotta be able to do it. And you know what? I like what you said here, that Miramar is going to be that judgment day for you and YKG, because I think you're right? You have so much room to breathe here. This is the map that you could just play your style, and if you go out, it's because you lost, right?
Yeah.
One thing I think YKG really needs to work on is those splits and just fight decision timing, okay? Right?
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing that teams at the high level need to understand, because the best squads, they know when to engage and when not to. Like Circle 4 is one of the most dangerous times to engage or even start a fight, because the chances you're going to get third-partied are so high, right? So I want to see YKG just, exercise a little bit more patience and decide, when to take those fights, when to split up, and just see them, make some adjustments here, especially in Miramar.
Yeah, and I think Zone 4 is a key factor, but the first 2 matches, or the first 2 maps for YKG, I believe it was Joey both times, a player that I wouldn't be really thinking I'd be saying his name for the night, making these sort of ISO'd, basically just errors on himself, getting eliminated out, not really winning the fights he's trying to, or maybe not thinking that these teams won't push him. So I'd really like to see him maybe just play with the squad and have someone else, maybe the new player, play solo, just switch it up, do something different, because right now, I mean, you're wanting to get into the top 8. You're wanting to finish first in my eyes if you're YKG, and right now it's not looking too good for you.
Yeah, definitely not looking good, that's for sure. So hopefully we could see them do that here now. We're going to see them stretch. They're going to most likely hit up Monte Nuevo, look for vehicles, maybe even head up to El Pozo. I like that strategy from them, because that is the highest tier loot area in this map. So if you're able to secure El Pozo, you're going to be lit with loot. Yeah, completely. That's why we see a lot of the top teams try to take that early on. So we're going to see what they do here. I think that's definitely the play. With the Northern Circle, Monte Nuevo, maybe get a level 1 vest if you can find it, but definitely prioritize vehicles and get up to El Pozo as fast as you can.
Yeah, I mean, we see it too. It looks like it maybe only be one other team going to El Pozo. We obviously see Twisted Militia rotating on that far west side, but I'm not actually sure if YKG is alone in Monte Nuevo. Looks like there might be a sort of hot drop, another one as well in San Martin possibly, but some of these teams may be expecting that no one would drop with them, but unfortunately getting caught out.
Yeah, just like that. I mean, that's always a tough thing when you have like a plane path or a circle that just kind of heads away from the plane path. You're going to see some teams try to hunt down vehicles and get caught out in the process. So definitely unfortunate, and we'll see if teams really get away with it. Because so far, no eliminations here to start things off. So they do end up surviving. Very beautifully done. And then we are going to see already some squads all the way in the center of the map near Hacienda del Patron. We see Black Mamba, Blue Tiam, and OG already there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these teams will have to make the rotate, but for those names, like especially OG, if you're around Hacienda, you could essentially just hold a pretty large split, shoot people away from you. Now, one thing I would have to mention, this used to be my drop spot with the XSET and stuff like that, with Team Totality. A lot of rosters. I've been inside and out of Monte Nuevo, And if you're wanting to take the 4v4 fight, you're wanting where Four Bros position was, where you're holding that upper top part of Monte Nuevo, you can look over every building, every little crevice, every car spawn, like what Leon was doing earlier, making sure that they don't get out without you getting at least 1 or 2 elimination points.
Oh, let's see what happens. You know, it's always good to hear from an experienced ex-professional player, right? And hopefully that insight. Yeah, experience, baby. And, you know, we're seeing some teams in here with a lot of that experience. So I want to see them. You know, I'm going to keep on harping on this, right? Those more experienced squads, they should be able to run through this lobby. Now, there are, I will say, I will give a lot of them a little bit of an excuse, considering that, you know, anytime we deal with new teams, things can kind of happen, right? You'll see some very bad decisions from some certain squads that will disrupt you entirely, right? So that's something you have to keep out on for. But you know what? I love seeing teams get the opportunity like this because it gives them that ability to, that practice, right? All about adaptation. Because in major tournaments, in the final day, you never know what's going to happen, right? You're going to see players and teams do all kinds of stuff. So you got to kind of think of that as practice for those situations. Beers gets knocked. YKG, how are they going to handle this fight here?
Oh!
Nice little knock on a Leon there. Very clutch.
I'm not sure how they got cars, but YKG made the full send round. I believe the west side of the round, really catching Four Bros off. Megatron landed here for loot at the very start of the match. Not sure why he's down here. YKG really catching Four Bros off guard right now.
Beautifully done. Beautifully done. So, like you mentioned, caught off guard, not able to make anything happen. As they do lose Leon in the process. That's going to be a big name for them to get dropped. Saturn starting off strong here. All right, Saturn. Nice little bounce back from game number 1. Love to see that. Oh, we're seeing some shots and knocks coming back and forth, though. Not the best situation for them. I'll tell you what, Blue Tiam's going to be my sleeper squad for this tournament. I'm already going to say it.
That's the pick? Well, what if I pick Saturn then, Jukes? What if I pick Saturn?
We'll see who's right. We'll see who's right.
What if I'm right? What are we gonna?
Well, then you have to give the chat 10,000 UC.
Dang. Well, maybe it'll happen.
It's looking good.
Blue Tiam, 1 for 1, or 1 for 0, I guess. I guess Andak was not eliminated. 1 HP though. Blue Tiam getting a little bit caught out. Actually, 2 of them eliminated. So Saturn coming out. You know, my pick on top, but you know, Jukes, I'm not gonna let you sulk too much. There are 2 more days left of play. It's not like it's over for them. Now, if they do finish higher, then I will rub it in. But of course, you know, we're going back now to the YKG
they put themselves
fight.
in good spots. Yeah, let's see if can handle this fight. YKG with the DBS. Oh, get caught in a 1v1. Angry gets the better of him. YKG, where are you? How are you going to be able to finish out this player? Oh, and Joey gets caught out in the open.
He knows Megatron is just too close, but Lord deciding to take the fight to them. And oh my goodness, I'm not sure if I like Megatron's position at all in this fight. They obviously got the re-knock onto a YKG player, but it doesn't matter if you don't finish him. The elimination point's what matters. Any sort of fight, if you're down a player, you need to give yourself that position. And unfortunately, this Megatron player is just, I'm not a fan of the position right now, Jigs.
Yeah, you know what? It's definitely not the best one. This is Four Brothers. You know, they're a lot of new names on the roster, so we'll give them a little bit of break. When it comes to YKG, though, you know, these are the kind of fights that I want them to kind of do their homework on. This fight in general, right? And fights like it, because let's be real. That same fight with a stronger team, they're going to get taken out 100% in that scenario with how they were holding those angles. So I want them to kind of like, you know, maybe breathe a little sigh of relief saying, whew, okay, we got away with that. How do we adjust that in case you have to almost consider a tournament like this as shadow boxing, right? Like kind of like shadow fighting bigger teams and kind of predicting what they would do and how you can make adjustments.
Well, a lot of it I think is just, you know, even if you win a fight, it's still like there aren't errors that have been made. And errors right now, I mean, even if they're minuscule, you still should take note of them. Saturn out having a few errors themselves, getting caught out from Black Mambas. Nice spread on this little cement compound down to, I believe, just the 1 Saturn player. Chalaco now getting with a bit of a jump shot I know forced to take a 1v1 it seems, but Saturn fully eliminated by Black Mamba. Not, you know, I'm a little sad to see it. That was my team,
told you.
but you know, we're gonna act like it's all right. We're gonna just brush it right under the rug.
Dude, like I said, Black Mamba, my sleeper team, 100%. So Black Mamba getting the better of them. Can they handle C4 though? That's gonna be the question. You can see them rotating away. I think that's the play. This is definitely not the easiest fight for them. So they need Unknown needs to get to safety as fast as he possibly can. Just kind of get a better angle and a better position to fight this one.
Well, it looks like C4 is trying
Bond
to
got taken
angle
down.
off. A little bit of a misplay there. I'm not sure how Bond had been knocked there, but Black Mamba, if you're coming off of a fight like this, you're ready to fight this compound. You just took the 4v4 and wiped the squad. I'd be a little bit worried for C4. You're already down one player now, and these nades aren't looking too good for C4. They're not really hitting any damage right now.
Oh! That was a sick
Wow.
jump shot right there, if I've ever seen it. Beautifully done. So, way to turn things around and even up the fight. Papi Triste is going to spot him with this nade. Is he going to land it, though? Oh, they do have a little bit of a distraction. That was actually a perfectly timed buggy, but Papi Triste wasn't able to take advantage of it. This nade should be good, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just the nade was out. I would like to see, you know, his M4 or something out. We do see Jazzy Boy, though, starting to clear out this edge. He's going to be the player where as soon as he reaches past that RV, C4 is stuck inside. They're not having anywhere to play. Obviously, Unknown was finished, unfortunately, but Black Mamba, I would have liked to see them stay in that building and keep that pressure that they have having the off angle on the outside.
I don't mind this play here from Black Mamba, just completely leaving this fight. Honestly, I think it's actually the right play in this scenario because, you know, you have to have that internal timer in your head of like how long this fight's taking, you know? And the longer a fight takes, especially in a circle like Circle 2, the bigger the chance you are to get third-partied. So I like the fact that, hey, you know what? We got some points. We did lose a player. We got a player back as revenge. Let's just leave, right? To live to fight another day. I think that's a big heads-up play because sometimes it's hard, right? A lot of these teams can be like, you know, pit bulls, just get that lockjaw, right? And not able to kind of let go of a fight. And sometimes that is the best case scenario.
Well, it seems like two teams now are going to be fighting. It seems on the southeast side of zone, it'll be 21st Century with the Finest Four, but I'm seeing on the edge of the map too, just to their south. Looks like a possible third-party position coming in. So if Master isn't able to pick up, you know, one or two eliminations on one of these TF4 players, then it could be spelling disaster for both these teams.
Yeah, Master did swap weapons. I wonder if they heard that. They didn't. Okay, so they didn't. He's going to get the finish really quickly. So, nice there from Master. Got to watch out there from that side. Oh, he doesn't watch it and gets caught. And the rest of the team wasn't there. I think that's a misplay for sure.
I think they were running over to him, but it looks like the fan club now is the team that was on the south side, picking up a knock on Deluxe. Finish as well. Looks like not. LQ is a bit far out too. I'm not sure what the vehicle situation is looking like for them, but it looks like fan club's won this attack right now.
Yes, they are. So here they go. On the move, looking to catch Joy Boy. Needs to go ahead and get that Gear 5 going. Hopefully we can hear those drums of liberation and see if he can get a crazy 1v4 play. That would be nice to see.
Nade.
Here come the nades, though. Oh, it's not looking good.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the building. They know where the stairs are at, so you're forced to sit on it, and the Molly's going to get him cooked up. Cooked up with the Molly.
Oh, the Drew Waves fan club looking like Kaido, right? Getting the nice knock there onto Joy Boy. Meanwhile, we're going to watch the Finest Four look to third party this here. So I think, we saw them get one knock. Uh-oh.
But I don't think they know the 21st Century players there. Imagine if the fan club pushes up on this and it's just 21st Century shooting all of them in the back on the rock. That would be insane. But it doesn't seem like that. It seems like the Finest Four is just going to take a little drive on in. Now, Miramar, people don't like the bus jukes. I'm a huge fan of it. I think it's just a big moving wall. But if you were on Miramar jukes, what car would you want if you're on this?
Honestly, I think buggy. I think buggy. It's fast.
Buggy,
You can really just kind of you can just full boost and just take off. You know, the Marauder's great, but
yeah.
it's kind of sketchy, right? Because if you hit the wrong little bowl, you can get stuck, and that definitely is
Yeah.
not a place you want to be in. So sometimes within the buggy, you can just kind of just send it, take off. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind a bike in certain scenarios, but it's very conditional, I think, in certain situations. If you're just trying to rotate, heck, a bike will work. Buggy, like I mentioned. But towards endgame, if you can get your hand on a US, it'll help out big time, right? Because just in case you need to set up that emergency car wall.
The car wall is sleeper. I'd like to see more people do it, but I know people on Miramar like taking that sort of mobility on the mountains and stuff like that. So the bike's not really favorable because you could flip on it, you can knock yourself. But the buggy, I mean, it's like you said, it's all around. You're able to get around. You can even prone on it, even though it's a super small wall. It's pretty safe. You're able to fit right in between the wheels. Most players don't know. But in my eyes, I like the bus because it's a big wall. You can have everyone in it, 4 players in it, just chilling. But teams are chilling right now. 4-12 and C4 again. Center of the zone shift. Have their own splits. Have their own compounds. And these teams on the edge are going to have to start moving towards them again.
Yeah, dude, C4's got it down, right? C4's got it down, and they've proven ready, right, in just 2 games, that if they get center zone, they're going to make it work to their advantage. And this is what I kind of wanted to see YKG do, like I said a little bit earlier, because I feel like they're weakest right now from center zone, which is wild to say. You know, edge play, getting into fights, they could definitely take it to you, and that's what they're going to do here, right? They're going to go ahead and catch out Black Mamba and look to soak up these points early on.
Yeah, I mean, they know where at least one is. Oh, misses the shot because he's on the box, but Poppy Triste getting caught out with an S12, and it's down to basically just Echo in this building.
Just like that, and how's Echo going to be able to hold himself down? Going to have to make a big play, and about to be gone. And yeah, there he goes, just like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you hold the edge, you're hoping that no one slams you, and it ends up just being YKG, you know. And in my eyes, it's the worst team to get crashed by because they're all players that if they have a DBS, if they have a UMP and Uzi even, I mean, they're going to be able to knock you. And I think they have a bit of an idea where the last Black Mamba player is. It's just a matter of if they choose to go for that elimination now or when the zone shift happens.
Yeah, I just want them to keep on putting in the work because, like I said, I think this is their strength, playing from this edge and taking these fights. But they definitely have to make sure those team fights are tightened up because they're getting away with, they can get away with some mistakes here, right? You know, maybe, you know, one player pushing in and 1v2ing, yeah, because you're YKG and this is PMCO. But, you know, you don't want to depend on that. That's for sure. So I don't want them to get, like, you know, 20 elimination chicken dinner thinking, oh, yeah, let's just push recklessly. No, just stay diligent, work as a team.
Yeah, put in the work. I mean, you have the time. That's the reason why you're here, is to put in the effort. You're already a PMPL team, you know. In my eyes, you're doing this only to get the experience, that sort of synergy built with this new player, and maybe with the existing players already. So hopefully we do see them. Maybe it's just, you know, because they haven't been performing that well, that they're like, hey, let's just play our game plan. Let's get a few kills under our belt and then switch to it. Maybe they're just going to see how the first day goes. But I completely agree with you. I'm wanting to see YKG play the center. Now, you don't always get center. You know, it's not like you're just going to be giving it. But I'd like to see them play for center. I want to see them rotate into the zone and make these plays that these other teams are too scared to do.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't mind the fact that they're playing edge here because I think this is probably best case scenario for them, right? Because you want to be able to put up big points on the board. You know, hey, put that $6,000 in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? And feel good going into the rest of the tournament. So if they could really play this edge, which is what they're good at, and just soak up big points and make such a big lead, then I would like to see them switch more central for that practice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, hey, definitely confirm that money, and then hopefully we can see them put in that work later on. But let's see, because, you know, even though they're playing edge, we haven't seen them win one yet. There's only 2 games down. This is going to be a hard one. This is not an easy shift, that's for sure. A nice little northern hard shift. They're going to have to deal with a few teams on the way in. Got to play it careful.
Yeah, I mean, the issue right now is just the fan club next to them. They both have to essentially make that same pathing in along the road. YKG, fortunately, in my eyes, I'd like to see them move first and try to hold out fan club because you're going to have C4 above you. You're going to have even TM next, the militia right next to you. And it's just going to be, are you really going to want to try to shoot these people as you're coming in? But Fears maybe getting caught on a 1 HP Slay, almost getting the knock.
Woo.
Now, I wonder if he had something other than the 249 there if he gets the knock. But thankfully for YKG, they don't get eliminated. But talking about eliminations, 9 eliminations on YKG. I did not expect them to have this many, Jukes.
100%. I mean, this is what we wanted to see, right? Is like, if they're gonna play Edge, they should be soaking up eliminations like crazy, I did think they got away with some nonsense a little bit earlier on with one of those fights, but now we're gonna take a look at the Finest for putting in some work.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the UMP. Kylan is just trying to group up his team a bit more. I'd like to see this push over the ridge, even though they do have the Overwatch. They have the Murado right there. Ashu's even able to hold off the Overwatch player potentially if they peek. Try to just prevent this sort of revive from happening on the hillside.
Yeah, beautifully done. So let's see how this gets pushed. Finest 4 looking to get it done with some nades. Nice little pre-fire through the smoke. That's what we want to see. So, and very bold, especially with having the player up. So they should communicate to have one player pre-fire that, and then just have the other 2 push dark here. Instead they go 1v1 against dark, and that is not good.
Yeah, Dark
my goodness.
He had one player at 1 HP, and then he wins the next 1v1, and they still haven't even dealt with the Overwatch.
There we go. Finally taking out Dark. This is something they should have done a little bit earlier, but again, right, these are those learning fights, right? You make those little mistakes, you gotta get taken out, so hopefully we can see the Finest 4, especially after this one, put in some homework and be able to relegate that. But now we're gonna see them, Cat crashing the Lambo, and that simple mistake puts him in big trouble.
Yeah,
he's getting blown up.
Behind it, Zeus is, if I'm him, I'm spraying every clip into it. This should be the last clip before he peeks him.
Nice shots.
Oh my goodness. And he's worried about the second player. Ashley's finally anging him. And I think this is it for T4L. Yep, Zeus eliminated. The Finest 4 salvaging that. I was really worried with Dark's position. He actually, I was not expecting it, pushed through the smoke, got 1 to 1 HP, hits the 90-degree turn, and then gets another player knocked. So, almost saved it for his team, but little short, unfortunately, for the rest of his squad. But Old Gangsters now getting a few knocks around the map. This southwest side is just absolutely congested. We have YKG, we have Old Gangsters, and the fan club, essentially 50 meters from each other.
Well, let me tell you right now, Enigma. YKG is starting to YKG, and they're looking good doing it. A baker's dozen so far in eliminations. Now, soaking up the elims, but not the placement. They have 2 players here. It is Joey and Fears. They could definitely make things happen. I will say, if this was a later stage, I think they're done for. But let's see what they could do here in PMCO.
Well, the first map, too, we saw it. They were able to get the positioning. They won that 1 or 2 crucial gunfights, even as a duo. Now, obviously, it wasn't the same players. Joey's alive now, but I believe Joey's the top frag for that roster right now. And if they're able to just work into this next zone, I feel like a lot of these teams are going to get eliminated just from how small the circle is. So that could be the free placement points that YKG's needing to get themselves propelled back up into, that first position. But C4 is the team that, is right in front of them. They've had the spread all game. Unfortunately, they have just 1 player now. I'm not too sure what happened to them, if it was 412 maybe shooting him in the side, or if it's OGX picking them off. But YKG, in my eyes, still has a position of getting top 3 in this game.
Well, let's see how they do it. Meanwhile, you got the Old Gangsters just outside of the circle here on the south side. They are definitely trying to take it to this fan club here. Meanwhile, we're going to see Baton getting a nice knock onto the Maniacs. And yeah, YKG able to edge their way into the circle, so they do make it up the hill. Joey going to start applying some of the pressure and looking to soak up some more elimination points. I love the fact that even though YKG is down to 2 players, these guys are definitely putting in work.
Yeah, we're seeing just textbook stuff, blow up the buggy, let's smoke the backside, let's worry about an angle that is actually going to be coming into us. Let's not look into the zone. And I think a lot of these teams, we don't really note it too much. When you get into these later stages and you have the zone, I feel people focus on the wrong parts of the map. If I'm on the edge, if I'm YKG, I'm only worrying about where people might be coming from. People in the center of the zone, I wouldn't care less about. 412, same thing. We're seeing these teams. We can see the arrows even on the map, pointing whether inwards or on the outside. And C4, Oz actually able to pick up 2 on a revive play, but Katri still knows where he's at. And I think it's only a matter of time before some of these solo players start getting eliminated, and it's essentially that. I mean, Oz eliminated now. We're down to just 5 teams, Jukes, on this last zone.
Just like that. Wow, teams getting taken apart bit by bit. Joey, yeah, turning it up with 6 eliminations so far. Looking real good. This is the Joey I've been waiting to see for a hot minute. So let's see how he can finish this situation out. Oh, Alim spotting the Maniacs in the wide open. But not able to get that. Now, actually, it's Crow able to pick that up. Very, very nice.
A little bit of an assist action going on there. They know where the last player is, too. It looks like Baton's starting to get a little bit of aggression going on. I'd like to see just the nade get pulled out and take the safe route to getting the knock. But, you know, YKG is still there. Maybe they'll take aggression on the Manic. But in my eyes, I mean, 412 is playing this perfectly this match.
Absolutely. Applying that pressure just so diligently. Meanwhile, we're going to see YKG look to finish off Maniac here. Put some more eliminations on the board. Fears, is he going to spot him? Nope, going to go ahead and blow up that vehicle first. And now let's see how they're going to handle this fight. So right now, I think they're opting to just kind of wait it out and slowly push into this circle, which might not be the bad play, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Joey's starting to realize that too. He's the one that's kind of looking inward to their east side and be like, hey, you know, can we just hoof it in, you know, run it in along this ridge? Because 412, you know, they can't see everything. Obviously, original gangsters are starting to move up and start to get this position. But old gangsters now just, I'd like to see them maybe fan out a bit, but it looks like YKG is going to have a bit of a timing on their side, be able to get into the zone. A little bit of a bowl spot for them.
Yeah, a little bit of a bowl spot indeed. So right now, this is definitely, everyone's just big chilling, and that could have a lot to do with the fact that there's only 15 teams in here, right? That one squad gone gives you a lot more room to breathe in such a large map. Tim has had his eyes on this player for so long, and he's down to just 32 bullets, and that's all it took.
Got him.
29,556 left for him.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he drives over to him and picks up some ammo, because I don't think you're winning if you run out of ammo, Cheeks. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can throw a pan at him or something, but old gangsters now looking to apply some sort of pressure on a YKG. I'm not sure if they know exactly where they're at. It looks like they're a bit lost on where exactly the positioning is, but the zone's closing. I'm not sure if any real aggression will be going on anytime soon, but stage 8 zone can be happening in 30 seconds.
Here we go. Like you mentioned, 30 seconds left on the clock to where the next circle pops. And, folks, this is where the game will end. This next zone is going to be the final circle shift that we're going to see. So we'll see who gets blessed in this scenario. 412 is looking really good with a very dominant compound and a lot of real estate here. So it doesn't matter where the circle goes, 412 is going to be big chilling. And you can just see Alim getting some really nice knocks here onto OG.
Yeah, but in my eyes, you know, OG's the other team as well that these teams have to look out for, because they're the only team with 4 up. Everyone else is either, you know, 3 up or 2 up. YKG's kind of just ratting it out a bit. And unfortunately for YKG, I'd probably see OG start to move in towards them. And I think Fears gets that sort of recognition as well. He sees that that's their game plan, and it's a matter of just, can YKG play this basically to perfection against OG?
Yeah, they do 4 up, but the thing is they're rocking a big 2-2 split, so they're not going to be able to support each other. Well, now they're finally starting to group up. That's definitely the play. So there we go. So now they're in a much more safe position here. I think if YKG was going to really try to pick them apart, they could have missed that window. But at the same time, you know, you can see them just deciding to play it very, very quiet here. Katri doesn't see him and gets shot up, but they don't get the knock. Joey's got to get the shots off. He doesn't do it. So YKG, Fears tries to get the flick, not able to do it. So they do get shut down here, and some nice shots downrange. Very good swap over for the old gangsters. Very well done.
Yeah, I like the idea of playing on the edge. Maybe old gangsters thought they'd be a bit closer and get a free knock, but Joey, unfortunately, you know, just just missing the shots when he needs it. I think the idea was there, just the execution wasn't. And while that happened, I mean, we're seeing the Finest Four made the monster truck rotate into the 412 compound. 412 opting to give up that one building. Alim, I think he's the centermost player in zone. He might be able to just chill on like that second story of the building and then wait for the zone to close. But Baton getting caught out by old gangsters now. Hopefully they can get the revive. It looks like Kidu's not going to allow that to happen.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, this is their chance to shine right now. So old gangsters after that knock are looking to push 412 and usurp them out of this compound. Now they do have to watch out though, because the Finest Four are a duo, and if they time it just right, they could catch a nice third party here. So let's see what Elim could do. Elim is just trying to buy some time for his teammate. He's throwing some nades out. Now, the zone is starting to close, folks, and it's going to go all the way down to nothing. So this fight needs to happen sooner rather than later. Old gangsters realize it. I think that's why you see them apply pressure, but there's that wide open little area, and they don't want to make mistakes. Nice knock, though. Beautifully done there.
Yeah, I mean, 412, I think they got the reset off on the player. One knocked on the OG as well, so it's a 2v3v1 position. Finest Four will get the revive up, but OG, I feel, have the better position. They're more centered in the zone. It's a matter of if 412 is able to clear out this duo on the edge of the map.
DMG3, 1v2. He's trying to time it perfectly. They gotta hear footsteps. Oh, he's got the DBS though. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Beautifully done. Great use of that hill. He's got to make sure he hauls it into this next zone, and he does, because Papa Blue is chunking here in Circle 9.
Yeah, I mean, Katri unfortunately getting knocked there right as Baton gets, traded out. Really liking to see
the nade.
412 get these trade knocks they need. That's the Kobe.
Oh!
Absolute knock. And I mean, we're down to just the one on OG and 412. It's anyone's game right now, Cheeks. I'm not sure who's going to be winning this.
100%. Yeah, the Finest Four could win this too, because 412 is hard locked onto the original gangsters. But man, that nade there from Alim was an absolute beam. Looking beautiful. And yeah, we're going to see the original gangsters most likely go out to the blue zone. Because remember, folks, this circle is going to go down into nothing. Alim's just going to throw those nades inside that building and let the work happen. But oh no, the Finest Four going out to the play zone here is not good. I think he was just holding on for the last second. Let's see what Vlop can do. Vlop, gotta make this pop shot.
Him now. Oh, and he gets shot out. It's just the OG player, but there's Shooks. Do they see him? They don't need to see him. Absolute win for 412, Dukes. And I mean, for them, they had the zone the game. They took aggression, and I mean, it's just another high point game from them.
Woo, looking good. I mean, I was telling you, this was the team that I was going to really keep my eye on, because they stuck together as a squad. They already went through loss. And sometimes that's a really big important thing, right? Is when you really have high expectations and your team isn't able to make it in the bigger stages, it humbles you, but for good teams and great players with good mindsets, sometimes that just lights a fire in you, right? Really gets that hunger going and ready to put in more work than ever. And I think we're starting to see some of that work really show off here in PMCO.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just all the team synergy. Everyone knows what it's like to lose as a team. Everyone knows what each other player is feeling. And I mean, for me personally, it was just, we had our good moments. When we had our bad moments, we could tell just exactly how much it meant to the other people. And you want players where it's like that. You can only have that connection where you're a team like 412, where you've played for months and months, played tournament after tournament, and just falling short barely even in some situations. So for these teams that are, these new teams just developing, I mean, we're seeing a lot of them with T4L, with OG, 4 Bros, all that sort of stuff. Even if you don't make the top 8, I want to see back here, get it back going, play scrims, maybe try with other teams, try out with other teams, see if it goes. But for the most part, try to stay with your squad and build, the synergy and the reputation that you can get.
100%. You got to be able to make those adjustments. You got to work together and just get better over time. And I think we're starting to see that here, because 412, they're not just winning. They're not being handed a lot of these games, right? They're putting in work. You saw them rotate, make that rotation into that center zone. You had Alim on that off angle, putting in some great shots, protecting each other, covering each other's angles, hitting some really nice nades. and just putting in that work. I will give it up to the old gangsters, though. I think a couple, things that could have, like, if this nade didn't hit, they could have won this game, 100%. But a limb just clutched it up.
Yeah, and I mean, we could see the goal spread there just for a little bit. It was pretty spread out for the most part across the scoreboard, but the points right now, the top three is pretty congested. First place is, of course, Nomad, 7 eliminations for 17 total points. YKG matching them, though, 13 elimination points. Only 4 placements. They're equal to them with 17 total points. And the old gangsters, team with 6 placements, 8 eliminations, kind of in between those two, but dropping 14 points. And I'll have to make note as well for 4th place, the finest 4, 10 points. Looking pretty decent.
Heck yeah, and I'll tell you what, even better, right? 5th, C4 Esports. I'm going to call them Mr. Consistent right now because they've been putting up some solid points every single game. And honestly, that's how you win championships, right? Is, you get a good circle and you put in 13 eliminations plus and put some big points. And that's what they did in Sanhok. And then they get a game where they don't quite get the best situation going for them. But 2 placement points, 6 eliminations, 8 points is a solid game when you're not having the best, of times.
Yeah, I mean, if you're feeling the gun skill, the kills are where you can make up for it. If you're not getting the zone, screw it. Just go for the edge play, go for, the full send compound dive, take the 4v4 because you're already winning it. You've shown it in the last 3 matches now. For them, it's a lot of just determining when that, to pull the trigger on what sort of gun and that sort of thing. So really like to see from them. Unfortunately, for these bottom, 7 teams, I'm seeing only 7 points total. So I'd really like to see them at least pick up Blue Tiam, Level X Esports, 4 Brothers, at least an elimination or 2. Try to salvage yourself out of this sort of, donut position you're in.
Yeah, it's not the easiest position to be in, that's for sure, right? But we still have one more game left today. It's going to be inside of Erangel, and we got a couple more days here of tournaments. So, guys, definitely make sure you stay tuned, mark it in your calendars, because this is the last chance for these squads to move on to that next stage, and that's going to be into the PMCO Grand Finals. So our eyes are going to be locked on top 8. Obviously, this is day 1, right? Day 1, so we could see all the whole leaderboards, right, get dropped down. And a big swap here in coming days. But how these teams are playing, like 4-1-2, C4, it doesn't seem likely because they're doing a really good job here in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's just always going to be, in my eyes, the teams that I've seen before should be consistent, not only on the first day, but over, the next 2 days as well. They should be at that top spot. But the real, test of truth is going to be these new teams coming in and just sort of like, okay, are we really going to be able to perform under these conditions? Can we at least get a few wins under our belt to know what it feels like and know maybe even get eliminations on YKG, C4, even just taking out one player shows that, it's not like they're gods. Okay, everyone's human. Everyone, can get eliminated by who. It's a matter of if you're confident enough to do that.
Absolutely right. One more game to go. We'll be right back after this break.
Bring the band in. Woo. Well, all right. Yeah, they want me to fit in, but I can't. I'm too different with it. Too advanced, think you know my intuition. I got bars and ink, but never in a prison. Too far gone, never gonna sit and listen. This is optimism mixed with the best. You get it? What you're seeing is a beast in the flesh. I'm vetted. I don't need to try, speak for the rest. Always keep for the breath. They wanna keep for the mess.
baby. We're back. Here we go. One more game left to go. It's Hot Jukes here with Enigma. And this is going to be a big one, right? Because now we're starting to see some leads for some squads, right? 4-1-2 was in the lead with a nice little bump here. So, you know, hopefully eventually we can see the overall scoreboard. That's something I want to definitely take a look at here in the future. But you know what? We're starting to see some teams, right, definitely dominate. Some names that come to mind, 4-1-2 obviously, C4, YKG, of course, and also the old gangsters, because old gangsters have been really putting up some nice fights here.
Yeah, and I mean, I always like that sort of, no-name team coming in. Old gangsters, I don't mind saying the name. Obviously, I'd be a fan if the fan club was up there somewhat. Maybe they will be. But, it's nowhere near going to be as close, that top 3 position that these teams are already starting to build up. Now, I would like to see, of course, it's 15 teams, 8 of you move on. Your focus should be for that top 8, top 5 ranking. Get that sort of, payment out that you'd appreciate a lot more if you put in the effort and stuff like that. But these teams right now, it's only the first day. I wouldn't be too discouraged just yet unless, you're bottom 3, let's say. But these teams at the top, there's still a lot of games to be made. I wouldn't be, putting all my eggs in one basket just yet, I guess you could say, or counting the coins with it. But for all of it, it's going to come down to these next 2 days, along with this last match, on how your mental is going to be going forward.
100%. Well, here we go. Final match of day 1 of the last chance PUBG Mobile Club Open here in North America. And look at that. We got to ski a nice little... Our eyes on the live ranking. Always take these live rankings, guys, with a grain of salt. Make sure you keep an eye on all the socials and follow them, because that's where they're going to post the official live rankings. But, if this is correct, you look at top 8. That is where we're really keeping an eye on, right? So 21st Century is at that cutoff with 14 points. So in all honesty, if you're in the bottom 3, I wouldn't even be sad right now, Like, yeah, you're going to be bummed a little bit. But, in order to make the top 8 is without a doubt the goal. I mean, you want to make some money, but top 8 is definitely where you want to be. And it's very reachable. Literally one good game here and you've rocket launched yourself in the top 8, no matter who you are.
Yeah, I think the blessing, too, is just all these top 3 teams are the ones soaking up the elimination points. So if you have a game like, old gangsters and stuff like that, where it's just, okay, like, we're the team that gets kills this game. We're the team that drops 5, 8, 10 elimination points. We're making sure that we're able to propel ourselves back up forward. And unfortunately, the fan club's only in 7th, Blue Team's above them, if I recall correctly from the overall rankings. But now, I mean, I'm seeing the playing path Jukes, and unfortunately, I'm seeing teams fight each other again off drop.
Oh no, not the best to happen, especially with only 15 teams in here, There shouldn't be any reason to see these kind of hot drop scenarios, but we're going to see them. We're going to see them, and hopefully, these teams that did it, watch back the broadcast and definitely realize that no matter what, it's pretty much a lose-lose scenario. I mean, even if we saw 4 bros in game 1, they got 2 eliminations. I think it was onto Black Mamba, and then just got picked apart right afterwards.
But picked apart is a little bit of an understatement, because right now it looks like Lovelock's tried to drop for, some whips, maybe the US, and just got beat out by Joyce. Lovelock's having to start scramble, pick up his teammate, and he missed the buggy.
Oh!
Get in!
He's trying to get in. He does make it! Wow, beautifully done. So, what a save there. Carnegie able to make it in and head over to these boosts to pick up some loot. So, very nice little rescue mission right there. Looked nice.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little worried because Ultron kind of overshot it a bit on the hillside. Now, 21st Century doesn't know if there's another player just on that north side of where all that commotion was going down. But there's a commotion. C4 knows Megatron's ISO'd out in the building. Lori pulls up with the trike of all things, making it a 2v4 situation between C4 and 4 bros. But Megatron having to come clutch. We see OZZ start the third party maybe as well on the south side, coming from the hillside. And this is a straight up 4v4 juke. It's a matter of who plays what side of the map better. But what the heck? OZZ goes for the buggy stand and gets absolutely slaughtered out of the driver's seat.
Oh man, the rest of C4 wasn't able to use that distraction to their advantage. They're just going to lose the player straight up. So let's see what the four bros are going to do here. Fortunately for them, there's only one team. It's Black Mambas nearby that could possibly third party, but they're still quite a bit of ways over there in Roshawk. So if you're four brothers, I think you're really going to try to get this fight done sooner than later. C4, not in the best spot. Payne does have that DBS. Oh, but no nades to his name or Molotovs to really catch him slipping.
Yeah, Megatron gets caught out as well. I'm not sure if he was inside the building and tried to rat it out, but Lori gets the trade knock. The one with all the frag grenades, I think those are worth its weight in gold right now when you're playing these sort of buildings and stuff like that. But
Love that free fire.
Now having to push in. Leon gets one with the pre-fire. Actually, his teammate getting it. It's just down to Bond. We've seen him do some work before, but runs out of ammo, and he pulls the molly out, and it's looking over for C4.
Wow.
One elimination. Obviously, they have the points to stay up in that top 8 spectrum, but a little sad to see.
Dude, 100%. I mean, that's still wild, though. I mean, four bros took them out with 4 eliminations. They do lose one player in that process, but still, I mean, honestly, they outplayed C4 right there, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
With just that use of nades, those pre-fires running into buildings. I love seeing that because, you never know where a player is going to be. So it doesn't hurt to just instantly run in, just start shooting that weapon, and if you catch some shots, you do, and that's exactly what we saw there, and that really helped out four bros.
Yeah, I think a main point to make too is just, even if you are that front person, we're playing the TPP aspect of the game. You should be going in first knowing that you're either going to pre-fire the right angle or you're going to get shot completely in the side. But you doing that allows your team to figure out where the players are. I mean, there's so many different angles, even in just one building. Obviously, upstairs is a lot less, but that downstairs floor has 3 or 4 rooms, a few boxes you can hide behind, and you being able to run in, pre-fire an angle, get the knock without you even being knocked is just an insane plus for your squad.
Without a doubt. So, man, nice start for them. Not the one for C4. I think if you're C4, you should be pretty happy with how your day started,
Yeah.
I think that was the only scenario. They've been playing so well that's the only scenario I think that could happen for them to put up only a 1-point game. So, if that's the case, then you're good, right? All you got to do is make sure you avoid those early fights as best you can, later on. But at the same time, right, they did get the initial knock. They just weren't able to convert. And I don't mind seeing teams lose fights because you're not going to win every fight, no matter how good you are. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're going to miss some shots. You're going to make some mistakes. I just want to see your team make the best decisions before going into a fight. And C4, I mean, their back was against the wall. They didn't really have much of a choice there. So I definitely don't blame them.
Going into the map now, I mean, we're seeing the fan club, of course. I'm going to say it. They might be my favorite team just because it's the fan club name. Carry on the legacy in some way, but coming in from this far west side towards Hospital, coming in towards Gatka, looks like 412 is starting to put some pieces together, trying to figure out what spot they're playing. This hill is a bit of a timer situation. If people start coming in, rotating behind you, you're just essentially on an open hillside, but it doesn't seem like they're stressing too much about it. People just kind of scouting out, figuring out, where they want to play. In the first zone, I mean, I don't think people should stress too much about, what spot you play and getting there early because the zone could shift off it. Pro getting
not to mention, there's only 15 teams, baby.
Yeah. Oh, but Daku got
right here.
destroyed. He destroyed Gunpain at this compound. I wish we had seen that a bit, but I'm not sure what the rotate was like for them. But fan club coming through this little, I guess, death corridor on this valley. Baton maybe going for a spray. Gets one almost. Too many heads in the car.
Go for the tires.
Spreads out a bit.
Gotta go for them tires. I don't like seeing teams go for headshots there because I kid you not, you bust one tire, they're most likely gonna spin out, and you got an easy finish there. So, Jerway's fan club getting away with it there in that scenario. Gonna keep all 4 up, so good for them. And yeah, I mean, like you're talking about like not being worried for so. I mean, you definitely don't have to be, especially considering that there's only 15 teams. One team out of the lobby opens up this map like you wouldn't believe. You have so much more room to breathe. You could definitely choose when you want to fight, when not to. I think right now, this is something I'm not seeing at all, and I definitely want to, is I want to see teams camp vehicle rotations, right?
Oh,
Hopefully
yeah.
they did the homework. They know where the circle's going. This, with only 15 teams, now's your time to really put yourself in a position to catch a team on rotation and bust them out of a vehicle.
Yeah, I think it just saves you a little bit of maybe an extra few minutes of the map in terms of, okay, these teams are fighting. We know they land here. We already know one team's not even in the lobby. Let's just wait them out. Even if you was someone like, YKG even, or let's say they take an early game fight at Primorsk. Obviously, that didn't happen. But teams that want to focus you, maybe you're that borderline 8th place, teams should definitely start doing it now compared to, the last day of the tournament in terms of focusing teams. And I think even in higher level play, it could become a thing more often in terms of camping vehicle rotates on teams that are on the edge that you can at least either beat or have a chance at beating. Because sometimes, if you're having a really poor mental, maybe you're not feeling confident in gunfights. Well, let's just start taking gunfights that they're not even shooting their guns. The vehicle rotates the best one for it. And if it's early enough in the zone, maybe they won't expect it.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, one thing that needs to happen for sure is if you start doing those vehicle rotations earlier than later, it gets you in the habit of doing it. And honestly, it also opens your mind to a lot more of the map, right? You have a lot more awareness of where teams could be, how they rotate, and that's so strong because especially if there's a time, Enigma, where you're on the final day and you're in a position where you need to take a team out early and get eliminations and win the game. We see that happen all the time, right?
Yeah.
If you study those vehicle rotations and you have that tool in your gameplay bag, oh my gosh, it's going to pay dividends out, especially in situations like that.
Yeah, I think we've seen it a bit in Americas and stuff like that too, where these teams take the edge zone fights, and right as their fight finishes, maybe it's zone 3, zone 4, it hard shifts on you. You know that your side of the map is clear because you just took out one of those teams. So in my eyes, it's all about the information gathering, whether it's you killing people or whether it's other people getting the elimination points. It all comes down to just you being able to absorb and process the information.
Yeah, let's see how much information they're going to have here. You can see the Sureways fan club keeping an eye on 4 Bros. There's still so much room. They don't have to take this fight. They can literally just get in their vehicles and leave.
Well, the nice thing is I like that 4 Bros doing is they're playing the apartments and they know that, hey, we have the advantageous position even though we're already down 1 player. So the fan club really just trying to stall out a bit to try to just give that sort of breathing room to themselves of, okay, the zone shift happens. We already see Black Mamba as well rotating. It looks like they might have picked up the knock onto Leon. And Black Mamba really finding a great time actually to push the apartments.
Here they go. Start push on the 4 Bros, right? They got a lot of fights early on. This is what they're kind of used to here, but their back is against the wall, not looking good. They got to try and play this as quiet as possible. Oh, they know where they're at. This nade's going to be good.
Oh, money. That
pieced
had
him
to
up,
have
but
done
didn't take him
damage.
out.
Yeah, they're all kind of grouped now in the building. It's just a 2v4 with Black Mamba, but Lori getting the 1 first. Little healthy too. The Bush is kind of playing against Unknown. Almost gets caught out with the little pre-fire spray. Down to just Leon now, I believe, in the building. Actually angry. 1v2 situation. Trying to force the 1v1 Poppy Triste. Not finding any of the shots, and Black Mama's just running him around the building.
Oh, he knows the play. Does he see that guy in the back behind
Oh,
him?
the
No, he
back
doesn't,
turn.
but he gets the knock. Wow.
Wow.
That could have been really bad there. Oh, and it is bad because here come the old gangsters. Perfect timing. These guys have a great awareness. Actually, it's not. It's the Sureways fan club. I thought it was old gangsters. Seeing that yellow above their name. But heck, this is a good time for them to full send it and soak up some very easy points.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they know exactly where he's at reviving. They're only able to get the 1 reset. On the stairs. They got to work up the building. Now, Slay, I'm not sure if he's just playing the TPP angle. I think he's just watching for the jump out maybe for his squad on the backside. But Black Mamba now just forcing, little freebie point right there. Yep. And then, yeah, now, so 4v2 now. Black Mamba versus the fan club. Now, I'm not too sure if Black Mama's going to try to go for pre-nades or if they're just going to pre-fire with the smoke. But I'm liking the fan club's fire now because they're trying to nade out the typical angles, and that could be it right there. Just missed it, but looks like they're making the push now up the stairs.
Yeah, if you are, all you gotta do is worry about those gates. That's it. And you can see Papa Triste has some locked and loaded. Here they come, though. Oh, he pulled it way too long. He's gonna need to bust out the shotgun. Uh-oh, the mistiming. That timing is not too good, but I don't think it matters. The numbers are overwhelming. Black Mamba, their final player, unknown. Ooh, gonna try to go back up and do some shenanigans? Oh, that's not the play. I'll tell you that now. That bandage was not it. It was a waste of time. Precious seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I think he actually finished one player on Fan Club, so really a bit of a misplay from them. Luckily, they do get the reset. It's not like they lost 2 players in this.
Get the buggy.
I mean, when the zone connects, the zone's gonna start doing more damage. Doesn't get into it. Jerway Fan Club is, picking up a few points. I'd like to have seen them keep, 4 players up, but 4 elimination points for them. Losing 1 player, that might be worth in my eyes.
Yeah, 100%. Well, let's see. The next circle does go on up, and it does head on over to the edge of Potato Hill. There's going to be that hillside right next to Pachinki, so it's not the easiest zone to hold down. That's for sure. You're going to have those couple compounds. That's where Saturn is and Maniacs, so they're going to be in the next circle for now. But that hillside is completely open, so I want to see YKG kind of hurry up and try to claim that for themselves, or maybe they're just going to wait here and try to catch some teams on rotation.
Yeah, and I think, too, with all this early game fighting that's going on the edge of the map, these players maybe haven't realized just yet that a lot of the map is free. YKG is the team that is holding a sort of spread on it, to show that, hey, we're understanding the map. Fears does go for the shots, but not sure if Blue Tiam's going to stop or if they're going to go over. It looks like they're stopping, and they're taking this fight with YKG.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. Is Blue Tiam. Yeah, YKG waited, I think, way too long. They need to start hurrying up on these rotations. They are going to have a player docked. That's not the best scenario for them. You can see them kind of doing some shenanigans. I think YKG's just having fun with this. Look at Fierce. Look at Fierce. Look at go get some runovers. Just driving around. Like I said, YKG, yeah. Just this flat play, they're just having fun.
Yeah, I mean, Fierce sent it over. He was the one at that little warehouse building down on the north side of the mountain, but Twix is having something to say about him. Picking up the one with the Bison of all guns. Last unfortunate.
Look at this reset from YKG. They're going to get a full reset just because of that knock.
Are they? It looks like he's going to
leave. Are they going for it? They should have that awareness, no?
Maybe you put one on the back of the buggy at least and then bring him with you?
Because you can do that, right? You can go ahead and grab a knocked player and put him in a vehicle.
Yep.
So Joey is going to leave his teammates with an easy revive. Will he go back? Will he have that awareness?
I don't think he will. He kind of was already sending it down the road. Now, if I was his teammates, I'd be screaming at him. I'd be like, what the heck are you doing? You need to come back here and put me on the backpack. Now, obviously, Joey is maybe like, I'm popping off. I'm a one-man team, but
I'm Joey.
You can only go so far.
Wow, that's a mistake. But heck, I mean, I don't think maybe he had the awareness of realizing that they were safe, so he just leaves them, says please, and now Joey is in the next circle. I think he's gonna be, he's holding that little dip right across the street for now. So we'll see how that works out. Meanwhile, you got the Nomads here in Pachinki. It's actually just Crow, last one up. Ooh, that nade looks good, but he had to hear that pin, didn't he? Nope. Goodbye, Kadri.
I think
nice knowing you.
Wow! Wow! I think he didn't hear it because the player across the field shooting him, but didn't move. That's a rookie mistake in my eyes. But luckily, old gangsters, they're all there. Get the knock, get the Elam point. 412 Nomads, unfortunately, out in 11th place. They did have two Elam points, but original gangsters is looking like their match to possibly move up into that top 3 position on the leaderboard. Ooh,
DBS coming out hot there. Taking out some of the fan club. Bubble X looking very, very confident here up on top. 4 eliminations for Jerways, but the patience. He is snaking. All right, so he's going to give them a lot of false confidence here. Could be very dangerous.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got the right gun for it. It's a matter of if maybe they're spread out enough for him to be able to go for shots.
Did he hear him?
But the DP coming in.
How do you not hear him? Oh, no.
He gets one. You got to go for the finish. Yep. Problem is all of Bubble X is around him now. only gets the 1 elimination point. But if I'm level X, I would be punching the air right now. Maybe picking up the
Dude.
Elim, hit the spray. Nice shots
That is the
on a Mafia.
That's the worst case scenario there. Like that is when you
Mhm.
get finished like that, nothing pisses you off more. So yeah, definitely some punches in the air there for level X, losing a player like that. And the rest of the teams, look at this Saturn, right? Just holding this position for now. It's outside of the next circle, so they're going to have to definitely rotate up this hill. YKG do get eliminated, so down goes Joey, trying to swing his way on out of there. And meanwhile, looking at this map and where everyone's positioned, who's your prediction to win this game?
I mean, I'm really liking Saturn's spot as long as they can deal with Toxic for Life on the south side of them because they're on the edge. And being on the edge doesn't always mean it's a bad thing. If they're able to take control of this western hillside on them, they're able to have so much control on the people in the field, on the 21st century at the compound. It's all a matter of if they're able to play up enough on this ridge side and put pressure on these teams so they're the driving force in the game. Because if you're in these positions where, you know, it's considered power positions in the zone, you're wanting to actually be putting yourself in a spot to take shots. Because if you're in a power position and you're doing nothing, then it allows everyone else to come around you, and it's the worst feeling in the world knowing that you had the spot for the game and you didn't win with it.
100%. So let's see if they can avoid that here, get this chicken dinner. Meanwhile, you're going to see Twisted Militia there with 3 players still up. Not in a bad position here. I mean, they are holding this edge. It's tough in the sense that it's like literally wide out in the open and old gangsters to their eye. But if they're able to kind of put some shots on there and get up the hill, they stand a chance.
Yeah,
Do they have
I mean,
vehicles,
old
though? That's the question.
I think these 2 players for Daku don't, for old gangsters don't have vehicles, but the players in Pachinki, maybe you do some sort of, you know, hero play where you have 2 players drive in and the 2 kind of, you know, die to zone, covering you. But Saturn now is noting it earlier, finally making the decision to go over onto the hill, take shots, but you gotta hit the shots. And Dark hits Toxic for Life, getting the knot that they desperately need to be able to play this position.
There they go, Toxic for Life, just holding it down. Saturn, oh, not able to catch even a single tire off that buggy. Now he's just getting popped through the zone. One more bullet, he's done for, and he does get caught. So that's a tough loss there. So Saturn, right? They just kept in that building for so long. And that's a really hard thing to do when you kind of enter competitive, is you feel so safe in a compound, you don't leave it. But at a certain point, you got to recognize, like, hey, this is just, we're done for, we stay. You know, we got to take that hill priority sooner rather than later. And if they did, they would be having this entire area to themselves, but just took a little bit too long.
Yeah, I think it's just being a little bit too scared. But a team that hasn't really been that scared just hasn't really been performing as well. In terms of the other teams like C4 and stuff like that, is Level X. I mean, Carnegie, again, top fragging for his team, has all 4 of the eliminations for his squad, 4 to his name, and possibly picking up more. He's only got 29 bullets, so I'm not sure if that's really the best gun to be spraying here, but looks like he's going to go for some desperate plays with the nades. You're going to have to try to fight out Twisted Militia if they have any sort of chance of getting in here.
100%. Well, let's see where things are going here as the final map of the day started to heat up. We're going to see right now Level X, right, going to have a good position inside, right just here at the edge of the circle.
Oh!
That's nothing to do. You can see Krish, right, just popping players on their way in, and that's going to be, I believe it's Maniac. Yeah, so soaking up some nice points. Maniac, Level X really start turning things up here.
Yeah, but the scary thing is Maniac, even though they've lost one, there's still 2 players right next to Carnegie on top of the hill. So if they force the 2v1, Carnegie's car is not in position for him to drive away instantly. If they were to take the fight to him now, maybe it's a bit of a switch up. They don't know Carnegie's there, so might be the end for Manic as we know it, unfortunately, but only the zone will tell now.
All right, well, let's see what happens. You can see Carnegie starting to make some moves. You can see him hopping that buggy. Ooh, some shots down range. Maniac playing this very passive here, so they can just tell they're a little bit nervous, just trying to sneak their way in and not able to do so. Yeah, in these scenarios, when you have so many players up, you have to make this push. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to push up the hill, take the fight with Level X. If you go out, you go out. But if you win, you have this entire side of the zone. But instead, they just try to run in, and look how that's working out. You know, they are just back against the wall here.
Yeah, I think in some spots you're able to handshake and play next to people, but this is definitely not one of them. We saw the players slam the buggy into the rock. Krish, of course, just being them out of it, blowing up the buggy. And it unfortunately just leaves, you know, you only have one other buggy at that point. Would you rather have gone for this play of, you know, playing cover with the tree, or would you rather have just taken a 3v3 fight with Level X? Because it wasn't like Level X was 4-man. They were a 3-man playing this position here. So it was definitely doable, but Level X showing the experiences, you know, weighing against a team like Manic. Unfortunately, 0 eliminations for them, 7th place. So they do get 1 placement point, but in my eyes, you're wanting obviously way more than just 1 point per game.
Yeah, not to mention, Manic not able to get a single elimination. So playing it very passive, and you know, back in the day that could have worked, but with this new point system, oh man, you got to get some eliminations. You got to hunt them down and take those fights. So hopefully they watch this back and make those adjustments for tomorrow. And maybe we might see them make it into top 8. I'll tell you what, Level X, they're definitely putting their futures in their hands. You know what I'm saying? They're not just trying to hope for a circle and run in. They are pushing, and they are just taking these fights on the edge as they come.
Yeah, I mean, they're right above Saturn Esports right now, right on the east side. It looks like they might have gone to the knock-on on Carnegie again with another. And look at the kill spread. I mean, it's 5 on Carnegie, 3 with Shadow, and 1 on Krish. Now, it's not any disrespect to Krish, but it's like some of these players are just really popping off right now. Carnegie is really just feeling himself with this M4. I mean, the 6X is never a scope that I liked using. I preferred the 3X with it, but I mean, he's making it work right now.
100%. Look at this. I mean, they're just pushing up tree by tree, rock by rock, and just clearing folks out little by little here. Now, Twisted Militia is going to have their eyes onto Carnegie, but he does have quite a bit of cover. He should be able to survive for a little bit longer. He needs to try and protect one of those vehicles if he can. Krish doing a great job of just disrupting, right? Just applying fire in to these trenches and allowing the fight to happen, because they have that entire side of the map to themselves.
And I mean, this push by old gangsters right now too is really liking it, and then the smoke started to fade, and that allowed Krish to get that crucial damage in while Twisted Mind is trying to push this off. But some crucial nades right now, known getting knocked. I'd really like to see old gangsters push into the bunker. You have to stand up and just send it at some point, because you staying in the field, we're seeing it. Level X is going to just start piecing you apart, and it's only a matter of time. 21st Century leaves their compound and starts shooting you. So old gangsters, they've got a bit of a clock. How many smokes you got to use them. You got to get into the bunker so you actually have a spot to play. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Wow, I love the fact that Krish is shooting out those tires before that vehicle gets blown up, because he wants to eliminate, you know, players shooting underneath and catching those toes. So he's using that elevation and really making the right plays. So Level X just having to do it off their backs with the M4. This is really good. The fact that there's so many smokes here on the field, it's eliminated the sight lines of all of these teams. So they have that opportunity. I think Level X, with how they're playing here, they're looking really good. Unfortunately, I think they've lost all their vehicles, and this is outside of the next circle. So not the best case scenario for them at all. Hopefully they have some smokes to try and make it in, but man, all these other teams should be able to just pre-fire through it, and Level X is done.
Yeah, I mean, we saw just in front of him. Maybe it would take 3 or 4 smokes and someone lucky, but there was a rock in zone that they could play. It's a matter of getting to it. I think it's just to their right above that tank on the left side of the screen there, but 21st Century now, I mean, they're working the bunker now. OG, the team that I wanted to reach this position, not capitalizing on any of the knocks they had, any of the damage they did, putting themselves kind of on this back foot of, okay, do we just try to snake around? Do we wait for 21st Century to fight? Or are we going to have to be the team that stands up in the open of all things and take gunfights?
I think that's their best scenario here, because I see that rock. That's a long ways away, that rock. If they're able to make it to it, that would be clutch. Yeah, but they're going to have to do it with some shots. I think that's the way. They just have to run in the open, pre-fire everything, and hopefully get some really lucky knocks. Maybe they can do the timing, too. If the timing works out perfectly for them, who knows what can happen, because you can see Twisted Militia really starting to give it to old gangsters. They don't have the ability to stand up at all now. Chris just got knocked, though. Carnegie knocks Lux.
Oh.
What a shot. That's wide out in the open, folks.
That might have been the blessing for him. I mean, it only took one for 21st Century to just immediately stop peaking. And I mean, for them, they're down to just 3 players now. It looks like they made it to the Rock. I'm not too sure about it. We'll have to get with the overhead view. But old gangsters now, I mean, I don't like how congested this is, Jigs. I was expecting some of these teams to lose a few more players, but now it's essentially just an all-out brawl. And in my eyes, I'm like in Level X's spot because they're kind of ISO'd out. It's a matter of just getting into the zone.
Well, good for them. The fact that they got Papa Blue on their side. This is Circle 9. It's going to go down into nothing. So it's a battle of the trenches. Who's going to get that trench foot? You can see Twisted Militia goes down. 3 squads remaining. Level X just waiting here. This is their game to win here. They're all focused on each other. The old gangsters go down with that nade. And 21st Century are going to have to leave that little hill and run out into the open. I guarantee you, Level X is looking right in their direction, but Joy Boy is able to make it into that little small dip. So clutch.
Oh, and there goes Rich. Old Gangsters. It's just down to 21st Century, and Level X is a 3v3. I don't think they realized Carnegie made it so far up on the right side of the zone.
Wow, 3v3 situation. Level X have done this with 0 cover. Meanwhile, you do have 21st Century that have a lot of different coverage spots, but they got to be careful because now they're starting to get with the nade range here. The play zone takes down Krish. That is worst case scenario. 2 players wide out in the open. This should be a 21st Century win. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful knock. It's just up to Carnegie. 1v3. He's got the push, but it ain't going to be good enough. Beautiful heads-up play there from 21st Century. In my opinion, that was the game that they needed to win, right? I mean, they should not have given Level X a chance, and they executed it perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, I like seeing that they kind of waited on that ridge line along the bunker just to make sure, you know, hey, someone's probably playing the edge, they have to move in. And thankfully, Carnegie didn't get any trade knocks on them when they were peeking, but I also saw Shadow, the player in the middle for Level X, had 4 M4 bullets, so I'm not sure how much he was going to be doing unless he had, you know, the DBS close range and they're right on top of him. But, you know, great stuff from 21st Century. Obviously, you know, they played that warehouse a long time. It's just after that, people want to say they get zoned. I don't see it that way. They worked into the zone to the south. They played the bunkers. They pushed, and they get to reap the rewards from it. So, obviously, the match rankings. This is the last map. Jigs, we have Level X, of course, in first place. They didn't win, but with those elimination points that Carnegie had, I could not see them not finishing first. 21st Century, though, 15 points, only 5 eliminations, but I think those crucial eliminations give them a huge confidence boost going in the last few days. And Old Gangsters, 3rd place, 7 eliminations. They got the 5 placement points off their 3rd place. And of course, Twisted Militia, a team that I hadn't seen up here too much on the top 8 board, dropping 10 points.
Hey, a good solid game there for 21st Century. Remember, we were so... the leaderboard is tight right now because there's so few games, and it's up to top 8. There's only 15 teams in here, so if you just get a couple good games, that should be good enough, right? For 21st Century to put up a solid 15 points, you know they got to be really excited, right? On the second page, one team that really surprises me, right? Or I guess it's kind of like the shock, I guess. It's going to be C4, right? C4 going out early there in that fight. That's going to hurt a little bit. But again, they put up so many points that they're big chilling. You know, and a lot of big names are actually here on the second page here in the final game.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously not just C4. It's YKG, it's 412, Blue Tiam, if we really want to consider it as well. Just teams that were up, you know, on the points for a bit. They're not even breaking 5 points in this match. They're only dropping 1, 2 eliminations, maybe a placement point if they live that long. But these lower teams, all of them got the points they needed to really bring this back into this top 8. This, hey, you know, we're here, we made it here. You can't just count us out just yet off of 3 games.
100%. Beautifully done from all of these squads. I think it's about time, though, we take a look at the overall leaderboards to see where everybody is standing up after day number 1. And I think they're going to see some surprises, that's for sure, right? I think we're going to see the top squad's going to be 4-1-2 Nomads with 45 points. And By the way,
Wow.
folks, I do have to make an announcement. We're going to see Old Gangsters there in second place with 29 points. That is because they did receive a 10-point penalty today. So they lost 10 points due to that penalty. Definitely stick around for tomorrow, and hopefully we can get an explanation on why exactly that happened. But yeah, a rough, a bit of, actually a pretty solid setback here, because they would have been in second, and now they're down to pretty much 5th place.
Yeah, I mean, we also see C4 there as well. I mean, basically equal in points with them. YKG just one under him. But one thing I have to note is all these teams are dropping so many elimination points. They're not leaving it up to the zone. They're not leaving it up to the placements. They're letting it be, hey, you know, if we're not going to qual, we know that it's someone that just outgunned us on that day, that week even, you know, if you're in that sort of tournament setting. So great stuff to see from them. I mean, we're seeing a 27 and 25 for all 4 of the teams in terms of elimination points. Nomads, of course, with that little bit of a breathing room for the placement points, that stuff that, you know, you don't really see every day. And now with this sort of new point format, we're seeing teams that if you can't gun, you got to be moving out of the way, because some teams can.
100%. One of those is definitely going to be YKG. You know, tied with the top eliminations, 27 to their name, but lacking those placement points. That seems to be their struggle always lately. So hopefully we can see them kind of turn that around here in future days. Looking at the bottom, though, remember, these are the teams that are off that cutoff, right? So we need to see them bounce back tomorrow. Black Mamba, wow. Seeing them in 12th place has got to hurt. Blue Tiam, 4 brothers, too. I mean, we see them do some really nice fights early on, but that second fight immediately after has just gone in the opposite direction both times today in Erangel.
Yeah. And I think it's just what you noted before, Sanhok and stuff like that. It's these teams that are taking this sort of first fight and they're winning it, but they're forgetting that, hey, you know, it's still second, third zone when you're taking this next fight. Other teams are going to be coming in and third partying, and that's exactly how we saw 4 Bros, you know, get eliminated, how we saw YKG get eliminated. A lot of these teams that are, you know, not getting the placement points, for the most part in mines, are just getting third party. They're getting outplayed on the map, and they're not really thinking, you know, just how dire of a fight this really is.
100%. And you know what? Speaking of dire, guys, make sure you go and follow all the socials that we have out there. And make sure you use that hashtag PMCO. Show us some love. The more love you show us, the more love that we show you guys. So, again, thank you so much for showing up. Keep an eye on the schedule because there's still a lot more PMCO action. It's been me, myself, Hot Chooks, here with Enigma. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys tomorrow.